welcome back to another Lego building stream. This time we are building Lego. I've got my bag of bricks right here, but we've started the stream a little bit sooner, so I just want to check everything's up and running, get a few of yous in chat. We are streaming on both YouTube and Twitch like we do every single week now, twice a week. Don't hold me to it, but at the minute we have been doing quite well with this twice a week streaming. Typically on Saturdays we'll be building something with physical Lego, and then Wednesdays midweek have a nice chill stream. Last weekend for Star Wars Celebration we actually played the complete saga, which I'm sure most of you have sat through most of that content, even if it was just us dying on Mustafar quite a few times. But with Andor coming out tonight or tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world, it's tomorrow for me, and I will be watching those 3 episodes straight away as soon as I can. But I thought it'd be perfect time to take a look at the only Andor set that we've got to date. Granted, we're getting another one in May, but for 2 seasons, 2 sets? Come on, Lego, give us more. We're asking to pay for more sets. We're asking to give you money at this point, and they're throwing away all of the opportunities. So I don't know what they're doing out here. But yeah, today, Attack on Ferrix, I believe it's called, is the only Lego set from Season 1 of Andor. That way it will stay, but we will be getting a U-Wing from Season 2, which, if you're like me and didn't pick up the one during Rogue One's release, you'll be very happy to find out. Alright, stream seems to be up and running. Since Star Wars Celebration, a few things have been announced. I did notice Maul Shadow Lord, which definitely ties to the Shadow Council, but Maul Shadow Lord had a trailer that they were shown not once, but twice if you did go to Star Wars Celebration. I have seen nothing on that, and will definitely be trying to look for a few images, but that's where it's come out about this Twi'lek apprentice, which doesn't look like Talon, but it'd be nice to see some traits carried across, especially given how Maul is as a Sith and as a being in general, because he's formerly Darth, now just Maul, giant crime lord. His apprentice would be insane. So hopefully you do get to see that, if not in this show, at some point soon. And I'm still of the mentality of Starkiller. Canonize Starkiller. Starkiller works so well in the current Star Wars canon as it is. And yes, I can't wait for it either. It's going to be a great series. I do have the instructions for this Lego set, by the way. Let's pour out the bricks, some nice ASMR to start it off. I do have the instructions on my computer, which is just up there off camera, no physical instructions. And I tell you what, whilst we're setting up, check out these minifigures, because let me just make sure both the cameras are in focus, and then I can show off. Andor isn't too bad. Neither is Cyril, actually. But for Andor, we've got the Rogue One minifigure of the attack on Scarif. Don't know how many sets this minifigure was included in, but this is that minifigure with, I can't remember his name, Ravenclaw from Harry Potter, but the nice long hair piece we use for Hunter, we've used for Anakin Skywalker, I've used that piece, and it's probably the same element in a slightly different colour that we got in this set. Cyril was easy. I picked up one of my best bin guards. Yes, I don't own the minifigures. I might pick up the minifigures at some point, but they're pretty pricey for figs that have only shown up in 1 season. I'm not too attached to these outfits, so I'd rather make my own customs. And then Luthen. Do I show off Luthen? Can we just cut it here and get to the set? Luthen's not my best work, but for Luthen we have an angry clone head. Let me see if I can get a focus. Can we see Luthen a bit clearer? It doesn't seem to want to focus whatsoever. The camera I'm using is absolutely awful. Perhaps I should switch it around and use this one for my face instead. I'm sure you'll all much prefer seeing the Lego in better quality. But we've got an angry clone face, Palpatine's hair. And does anyone know where this torso's from? It's either Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm leaning to, or Lone Ranger. Either way, it's a decent torso. It's got a little bit of that light green on the inside. Maybe this even from Harry Potter. But this is the one that I used for my custom Jude Law before we got the minifigure. It's in dark bluish grey rather than green, but still works for the same effect. Have both the TAC pod set from Andor Season 1. Oh, I don't even know what this ship is called, you know. The TAC pod set. I like the fact that this ship, the set in general, should have been much more affordable for the pieces that it come with. Take that piece count, 50 of the elements were just the black Technic pins, and that means there's a load of Technic on the inside as well. But here's Andor Season 1 and the U-Wing from Season 2. Night Wizard. Okay, I would love to find a LEGO set early. We found Boba Fett 2 years ago we found Boba Fett's mech early. Having all the figures from the show is great. All the bad guys wear hats. Oh yeah, we've got Cyril, then we have Dedra Miro, and then we have that other little officer. Doesn't have a name. That is quite a fun fact, actually. And I guess all the heroes, both Cassian's, Luthen, and K2SO, don't wear hats on the complete opposite side of it. Hello there, Greg Dillon. All right, prepare yourself. The mic sometimes does not even pick this up, but because I've got the pieces just loose in this bag, there's going to be a racket. Perhaps if this is a bit loud, turn your volume a little bit down and prepare for some LEGO ASMR. All right, is that everything? Is that everything? We'll be missing a piece later on. We'll no doubt go back to it. Have I got X yet? X as in found the U-Wing in Target. I've seen so many, Target specifically, not so much Walmart recently, but Target specifically having sets out early, and yeah, it goes through registers on the system, which fair enough, walking away with it. If only. Oh, have I got Twitter? I do. And I should probably actually let people know that I am going live. Let's have a little live post over there, just so anyone wants to see the Andor set build. I do have Twitter. If you're wondering what I am on there, or X, I believe it's just Master Moldy. Same as usual, nothing too special about it. But I do try to get Master Moldy on every single platform. We're not big enough yet where that hasn't been a possibility. So that is quite nice as well. But 7.3k subscribers on YouTube, 7,300, 7,400 almost, is crazy. Thank you so much for that, because it was only the other day we hit 5,000 and then we hit 6,000. Then we hit 7,000 yesterday, and where to next? I guess we got 8,000, 9,000, and then UCS set at 10,000. Join me live as we build the only, I'm pushing this, the only LEGO Star Wars Andor set. There we go. It's still the only Andor set for the next week. That is all I can say. Chances are the video is going to be titled that as well. So if you search for Master Moldy, you should see that post now. And maybe, you know, the odd one or two. I have no idea how to access my account on here, but yep, Master Moldy, at Master Moldy, there you go. Still can't believe you pay to get verified. I think that's absolutely crazy. But yes, a lot of elements on the desk for a set that, you know, was not great price per piece, but also wasn't too bad. Cheers! Got a new follower on X, on Twitter. Still don't like the rebrand of X. I also contemplated, you know, cracking open my Arc 170, because there are a few elements like this dish piece that I just don't own in grey. The problem is the Arc 170 only had half of them, so maybe when we build that this Saturday, same time as well, in about, what, 13 minutes on Saturday. Austin Powers or Johnny English. Johnny English all the way, every day. Maybe once we've built the Arc 170, we can get some of the pieces over onto here. But let me get up those instructions so I'm not missing out. Yeah, nothing too new when it comes to Star Wars since Celebration, which I think makes sense. They're the big announcements for the next 2 years, but it would have been nice to have seen a clones show. There is so much that we didn't get at Star Wars Celebration that I think would have worked so well. Animated, slotting in between the live action series and movies. And also for any of you that remember my LED keyboard, my Lego keyboard, sorry, my Lego LED keyboard, there are 3 keys left, Q, Z and X. And I am in the process of updating it, but I'm also in the process of letting it wait out and see which key is the last one standing. I think that will be super fun. No facts about Andor. There is 6 bags on the desk here, so you know that's not half bad. And I have got the blasters in here. Somewhere in this pile, there are blasters for these minifigures. I assume Cyril's probably got the little pistol, but there is 2 of them. Maybe there's one hidden in the set as well. I don't think Cyril's ever dual-wielding blasters. And there is one element as well that I didn't own, which I'll be going through why I replaced it as I do. If you do want to build along, be sure to grab a set or start building a mock. Anything will do. And if not, you are very much welcome to be jumping around in chat. I see there's a few of you already here. Better than the U-Wing. Attack Pod Season 1 set has 100 more pieces than the U-Wing at the same price. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, there is a lot of pins here, but I see the U-Wing probably having more Technic bricks and pins. I like the fact that the U-Wing's engines aren't all Technic-y and don't just waste away a few pieces here. All right, Luthen gets Rex's blaster. And already I'm struggling to find these blasters. I know they're here, but that is crazy that they're the same price and this has got a few more pieces, because I wouldn't say they're exactly small pieces. Perhaps the fact that the U-Wing has some larger pieces. We've still got wedge elements here. I have to take a look. So this is what the tack pod pieces look like. You know, you've got the odd 6x8, I think there's 2 of those, a few 4x6s, a load of these wedges in different shapes and different colours. But I wouldn't suspect the U-Wing to be too different. I do also want to, someone commented that I should build the original U-Wing first. So I'm going to see if I can part that out before buying the new, well, after buying the new one, before building it, whilst I wait for it to arrive. And hopefully that will help contain some of my excitement. But I'll have to have a little look at all the pieces we get in that new set. We'll come back to Andor's blaster as we find it and see how they compare. Saw Star Wars in 1979, the year, which was the year you were born. Oh, sweet. So, what, not even one and introduced to Star Wars? I remember, well, actually, I don't remember, but my dad introduced me to Star Wars when I was 2, so got in there before me. Well, 2 is the earliest, is the latest I could have been introduced to it, but yes, teaching you from a young age. Alright, so the first build is Luthen's Speeder, which again we mentioned on the weekend, just pops up out of nowhere. We rewatched season 1 now, ready for tomorrow's triple episode. 3 episodes a week. They could have let that out a little longer, but I'm so happy I don't have to be waiting for it. Could you imagine having to wait? Imagine watching the first 2 episodes, because no matter what, we'd be getting 2 episodes. They showed them at Star Wars Celebration. And then having to wait like another 7 days to get the end of that arc. I don't know if I could do that. It sounds like a lot of waiting for someone as impatient as I am. Alright, this nice 2x6. Still don't agree with these pieces, but... oh, yes! Meet Mark Hamill, give him phone number and best friends. Huh. Imagine having Hamill's phone number. I wonder how often celebrities change their numbers and go for them, because they're bound to leak somehow. But at the same point, I never answer a phone call that isn't from someone I recognise, and who knows how many times I've missed winning the lottery. Don't play the lottery, but you never know. Wrong phone call. I wonder how many times celebrities do it. Their numbers do go out to, you know, a lot of people, or, like I say, they just don't answer. Might be a bit hard to use your phone though, mind you, if you're getting calls on it all the time. I wonder how fast I'll be able to build this with all the pieces out on the desk compared to going to and fro my drawers. I think I did that early on when we were building, and it was just a bit tedious going to, from, and back and forth. But I'd know where the pieces are, which would give me the advantage. Speculation for Andor. Are we expecting anything to pop up that hasn't already been confirmed? Of course, we got Krennic. I'm expecting to see, or at least get a reference or a hint to Urso. The problem with seeing Galen Urso is Galen hadn't worked on it for what feels like a while. It does feel like a while, and I know Andor is sort of the start of it. Geonosians were working on this Death Star, this planet killer, but it doesn't really get into the swing of it until this rebel activity kicks up, and then they're like, all right, we got to finish this. Let's get this finished, get it sorted, and start blowing up planets. I'm convinced that this piece does not exist. It's got to be here somewhere. All right, for now, we'll make the dreaded trip to the back, and we can replace it later. Can't be stuck on this speeder. Nice element coming up though. Yeah, I think seeing Urso wouldn't put a spanner in the works too much either. Where are you? Oh look, there you go. That's the piece we were missing. Get rid of that straight up. We want an empty desk when this is built. If we see a bunch of elements laying around again, we usually have the odd element that I've somehow missed, and it's somehow not a problem whatsoever to the integrity of this build. But one time it will be, and we'll be needing it. Besides Galen, I don't know which other characters can pop up, you know? I feel like everyone that could, well, everyone could, to be honest, but I also feel like everyone that could has probably been referenced some way or other. Bello, Miss Lou. Hello there. I have to brush up on my well, I'll just pick a language other than English, to be fair, and basic. Does basic count from Star Wars? I can speak perfect basic, but I feel like that's cheating as well. Plus, with oh, have I frozen my camera? Oh no, there we go. I feel like also basic depends on which country you're in as to what basic is, because that's a good thing with Star Wars. Basic isn't English. Basic is, you know, basic. Hello there. What am I doing? Building the ambush on Ferrix, attack on Ferrix, the Andor set. So we have our little Andor figs up here. That's Andor, that's Cyril, and that's Luthen. Totally the accurate minifigures and not ones that I've mashed together to go with this build. But right now, we're building the speeder, which, have I done that right, or am I missing a 1x2 at the back? 1x2 without it. And this is technically the only Andor set. So, you know, it's not that for long, but as you're going to hear throughout this stream and throughout the eventual video that I'm going to make on it, no doubt, yes, it's the only Andor set right now. Right now. In a week's time, that statement is not true. But right now it is. Where's the little Technic brick? Ooh. Also, I've been looking at, because Fortnite is updating now with some Star Wars season, which I'm actually going to get into the habit. I'm going to live stream it here on the channel weekly, the new updates. I think it's not exactly weekly. It's not on the same day every week. They delay it a day. And I'm hoping that final one isn't just a live event, because I do want to build some Lego on the day that updates. But if it is a live event and it's just that day only, or that couple of days, we'll definitely do that instead, and I'll switch them around. But I'm hoping it lasts a couple of days, up to like at least a week afterwards, so we can go about playing a bit more of it. And yeah, that does push back Repo. Repo we're going to be playing in June, from about early mid-June. But we are still playing it. Don't worry, we're definitely still going to be playing Repo here. After the success of that short, popped off like crazy. I think the last I checked, it was on maybe 2.5 million views, which couldn't be dreaming that big. Should you subscribe? I don't know. Should you subscribe? You could leave it up to chat if you'd like. But if you do enjoy Lego and you enjoy Star Wars, perhaps this is the place to be. Should whack up a every time you hit subscribe, it's just RNG whether or not you end up subscribing. From a business standpoint, that would absolutely suck for YouTube, but it'd be fun, wouldn't it? 1x4. Ooh. I'm convinced when I'm I know we found the pieces eventually, but I used to be so good at the Where's Wally books, or Where's Waldo, depending on which side of the pond you are. I don't know how, because I could not find... Sometimes I can't find a minifigure in a pile of Lego to save me, let alone a little piece, a little 1x4. It will show up eventually. Alright, that's the speeder at the minute. I really like the way this speeder looks, because it looks like a speeder from a mock, and it'll make more sense when we've actually got it built. I have gone through this to get the pieces, so I do know what it turns out, and some of the elements in this ship, it has been designed very, very well. Having seen how it's been designed, I don't know if it would double, if I'd have to take a, if I might pick up the set, because I wouldn't say that I missed out on this set, but at the same time, it's a really good build. It is. If you have been eyeing up this set, you can't pick it up through Lego anymore, but if you've been eyeing up this set and wondering whether you should make the purchase, I think probably doing it before the Season 2 finale of Andor is the wise decision, because I don't think the characters will be much more popular, but the fact that Andor is over, if it doesn't get renewed for a third season, which there's not really much other story to tell after these 2 seasons, fills in the gap quite nicely. The price is just going to shoot up because there's no more Andor Lego. Probably won't get Andor in another set unless for Lego's 50th anniversary they decide to do 50 minifigures and release those in various sets, or do like a 50 minifigure CMF. I think Andor would be in the top 50 Star Wars characters. I couldn't name the other 49, but I think Andor makes top 50 quite comfortably. Makes top 50. Involvement in Andor and in Rogue One. I think K2SO as well makes top 50. And I don't think there'll be much debate on that. A solid 10 of them to original trilogy characters, 20 to the prequels, because we've also got Clone Wars, and then we've also got sequels, gets at least 10. I think there's some other named characters that could be dropped out of that. Mandoverse, Mando Grogu, I think, maybe, because the other characters are named elsewhere. Maybe like 5 for Mandoverse, 5 for Andor. And I think that covers most characters. Leave out like Solo, because Han and Chewie, original trilogy characters. I think that works quite well. Yeah, I think Andor and K2 makes top 50. Would we include, so that gives like 5 for Rogue One. So Krennic's up there as well. Do we include Jyn? I feel like Jyn was important to the story. I don't know. Would you include Jyn as a top 50 Star Wars character? I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea. I just think if you include Jyn, then you've got to include Baze, you've got to include Chirrut, you've got to include Bodhi, and suddenly we've got more than 5 minifigures, and might have to drop them all. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of characters in Star Wars that we'd have to choose from. I don't think they'd pick a top 50. I don't think they'd want that stress. Another wedge. Where are we? I was editing a future video, actually, available to members right now, of my X-Wing review, the X-Wing mech that I picked up. Finally got that cleaned up. And for anyone that isn't a member, that'll be available in like a week or so. So definitely worth waiting around for. And something like that, I think. And in it, I mentioned Wedge because I thought Wedge was red free, and I genuinely don't know where I got that information from. I must have just plucked it from the air and got lucky, because Wedge is actually red 2. Fun little Star Wars fact. Red 3 is Kai, Trinali, I think it is, from the sequels. I didn't look at that. I just happened to guess that that is who they are. I'm hoping to get a few more members early videos for you members supporting the channel. And if you are thinking of supporting the channel, don't want any merch, don't want any instructions, members do get a 3D printed tile, which I don't push enough. That is pretty cool. If I wasn't a member of this channel already, I'd definitely, maybe I should put my name up there somewhere as well. Anytime someone like sponsors the channel, you automatically get a tile. Oh, I've just had the other one of these. Oh, there's so many red elements, pink, orange, yellow. Every pink item, every time a pink brick, I don't know how far that extends, but every time a pink brick is in a LEGO Star Wars set, the designers get cakes, as far as I remember, which I think is pretty cool. You know, every time a pink brick pops up, yeah, someone's enjoyed a cake for that. So the whip element, there we go. I think, well, let's get to the whip element first. So this goes in like that. These two pieces connect, and then watch this whip element, because we've, oh, is this upside down? Yep, that's upside down. All right, well, we'll pull this back out. Oh no, there you go, you can just pop that off. So this whip element here comes around, through, then around and into this jumper. I haven't shown that very well, but hello there. This whip here goes around and through, and then back around and into this jumper tile, jumper plate, just here. I tell you what, this isn't easy at all. I thought this would be quite easy looking at it. There you go. But how cool is that, as a loose wire that goes around? Cool build, thank you. Yes, so excited for Andor Season 2. We're currently building the only Andor set, but we do have that U-Wing coming out May that I will be staying up to order with that May gift with purchase, alongside some key rings. Do we all know what we're getting May 4th? Or May 1st, should I say? If you do want to go for that gift with purchase. I know, especially in America, that gift with purchase sells out so quickly online. And then we're stuck here in the UK on like May 3rd with still the final few being sold. Why are you timed out? Oh, I don't know. Do I have slow mode on? I might have slow mode on. One chat every like 5 seconds or so. Just for when it gets busy. Not necessarily for now, but for when it does get busy, it just makes the chat a bit easier to read. So it's not scrolling too fast. There's nothing personal. Ooh. We've already used like 5 clips on this speeder bike. I don't think we've got any for the other build. But May 4th, I mentioned May gift with purchase. Yes, I will be spending £145 for the first time, for the first time in what feels like years, to be fair. I remember 2017, I did spend it to get the bonus minifigure and probably a few other bits that came with it. But besides that, I can't remember the last time I got a May 4th gift with purchase. We didn't get the droid gift with purchase last year. We didn't get Aunt Beru before that. I don't think there's been many gift with purchases I've wanted to pick up, but this clone, Attack of the Clones set, I think it's because it's Attack of the Clones. That's pushed me over the edge. Same with Rogue One. I really loved the Rogue One movie, so after seeing that in cinema and then seeing a gift with purchase, yeah, I had to spend that much. And also the Attack on Scarif. I think that's probably what pushed me over the edge. Still missing that 1x4. That might have been a oh no, here we go. There's the 1x4. I couldn't see it was hidden. Hello there, Daniel. Welcome to the stream. Do we think Andor Season 2 is going to beat Andor Season 1, or do we think it's going to meet it? I don't think it's going to do any worse than it. Do we think it's going to... Because what I've seen of the first 2 episodes, people are liking it a lot more than the first season. They're not light words. That's a lot to live up to, isn't it? Because the first season of Andor is some of the best content. Off the back of Rogue One, I do think the first season of Andor somehow did better. So I'm expecting that from season 2. But if we're expecting it from season 2, I wonder if, you know, if it comes in, meets the same energy as season 1, are some of us going to get disappointed? I honestly think Andor could just be running around for the last 4 years, and knowing how he started, where it ends up, Andor's story is pretty rock solid. They'd have to really mess it up for it not to be any more enjoyable than season 1. This feels very loose. Connecting it with this, maybe it's the pin. Let me get another axle. It's not a pin, it's an axle. If I replace this, because I know a lot of these axles have been holding up my AV7 cannons and other mocks like that, so they've been put under some tension. But no, it's not the pin. This connection just feels like if I wobble it around, it will slowly start falling out, which it doesn't. Not without some force. Oh, not without some force. If you push it in without holding the pin. Oh no, that does work. First time it pushed the pin through. Early reviews are very good. I saw it got a certified fresh rating from Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't even realise they could give out above like 50%. Been looking through a lot of the older Doctor Who seasons and that, and they have not performed very well. Very different content to Andor, mind you. Doctor Who is in its own lane. Oh. Ooh. That is interesting. On the instructions, I probably should put the instructions on screen. We've got a 1x1 going through there. Now, I am anti those 2x6 Technic pieces, so I'm not going to be able to do that because I've chosen to brick build it instead. I want to test it, see if it's just as strong. But if I can find those elements, I can easily replace it with a 2x2. Hello there, welcome to the stream. There we go. Quite easy when you're rebuilding sets, or like this, sets that I didn't pick up initially, and you're going back through building your own thing. It's very easy to swap out the odd element that you don't want to use, or perhaps you've got a better way of building it, which sometimes, you know, preference is different for everyone. So the designers adding that Milky Bar button there to stop the speeder. That was the one issue I had with the speeder, and already we fixed it. Well, I guess they know what they're doing. We'll let the designers have that one. But yeah, sometimes the designers will do saying, oh, look at it, and it makes sense, it works for the Lego set, but it's not how I would have done it. So I'll mix it up a little bit, and as far as the outside of the ship is concerned, most of the time you can't even see a difference. So it doesn't impact reviews, nothing like that. I'm not changing the set necessarily. I wouldn't call it a modification as much as it is just a preference sometimes. So I do encourage, if you're building a Lego set and there's something, maybe there's a brand new element that you don't have. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for the Arc 170 when we're building that. Actually, all Lego sets I keep an eye out for, in case there's an element I don't have an abundance of and that I can steal from this one. I think we did it with the Acclimator, switching up a few of the different bricks as well. And I don't know what this is. This looks like a jetpack. Andor didn't have jetpacks. Does Andor have jetpacks? I don't think we see anyone flying around with a jetpack. Maybe there is one in the background of the scene somewhere, or repurposed parts from one. But I don't think we see anyone using one. Yet. There's always room in season 2. B2 Emo just flying across in a jetpack, like we did Chopper. When Chopper, the little buildable chopper that they released last year. Something like that, but B2 Emo with that giant rocket coming out of him. Can you imagine B2 just... I do think, and I want to put this on the floor again, so it's fresh in everyone's minds, B2 Emo has to play a part in Andor Season 2. Such an important character that they're not going to kill him off. So I see B2EMO's story ending one of two ways. And the first one, I've convinced myself. So Season 2 comes out tomorrow here in the UK. I think it's like 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning for us, something like that. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and America get it tonight. Not tonight for us, but tonight for them. So all you lucky folk over in America get to be watching it like 12 hours before I even wake up. But B2EMO, I think, is either going to... There we go. Speaking of, I've got B2EMO. B2EMO's either going to be reprogrammed into K2SO, or is going to go off on their own adventure, perhaps stick with Bix, and Bix ends up surviving. But Cassian in Rogue One didn't seem like he had anyone left. He didn't seem like he knew there were other people surviving. So they're going to have to sneak off secretly and just, what, ignore the Empire? Or they're going to meet their fate, perhaps like Andor. Perhaps Andor never reunites with them, and we never find out what happened to them. I think that's also quite fitting, because we then know Andor meets his fate, but we don't even need a comic or that exploring the others. They can just go their own way, and that'll be that. What a nice chunky engine under here. Look at that. This is not the speeder that... Well, actually, I think it's the speeder that is stolen. It's not Luthen's speeder. But it's Luthen's for a period of time before he doesn't need it. Where is B2? There he is. I've also got the Jyn Erso from that set that I was talking about, all the way back in 2017. Almost 10 years old, this figure. But I've created a little B2EMO. My dad has the James Bond car, so I got one of the spare pieces from that. And it turns out it's the same one that Firestar used, so great minds must think alike. Jyn isn't featured in Andor, don't think we'll be seeing Jyn. Probably a few other characters, we might get a few surprises. We could have Hera pop up for all we know in Andor Season 2, depends how into the rebellion they go. Because Andor does sound like he's been doing it not for a long time. He still seems new to the rebellion in Rogue One, but he has been helping out. You know, we see with Luthen, we might get another little bit like that with the Aldhani job. He's been doing things, he's just not quite a rebel yet. Well, at least that's how I infer it. Star Wars could come out and suddenly Episode 2 he's working for the rebellion. But I don't think we're going to get much of Andor with the rebellion. I also think that whole plot throughout Season 1 with his sister, are we going to find out? Are we going to find his sister? I guess we know who his sister is. We've seen the flashbacks. But are we going to find out who his sister is? Or is that just going to be a plot point that never gets covered? Maybe they'll do a comic in like 5-10 years with a closer hint at an answer. But if it does get covered, I think it might be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 answers that, so that Cassian's got no questions going forward in this show. It's all resolved, and maybe the sister is involved. Apparently Dead Marva said. What did Dead Marva say? Oh, we know what Dead Marva said about the Empire, though, don't we? Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's not a deleted scene or anything like that, but it's not going to convince us otherwise. It'd be pretty cool if she did. If you don't know, it's out there. Marva definitely would have said, being realistic, would have said something very different about the Empire. Not just fighting them, but expressed her thoughts very differently. Shame it was covered by a blanket. That nobody on the planet survived and he should stop looking. Very, very true. Yeah, so on the plant, I didn't notice that. Everyone on the plant died and he should stop looking. But, oh, Cassian's driving it. Yeah, I do think there is some truth to that, but I also think Marva knew there were other problems on the world. So I do think that could have just been said. I still don't know if it will be revealed in Season 2, but you never know. It might be, or we might just forever be wondering. There will be some crazy, As an ex-fanfic myself, fanfictioner myself, there'll be some crazy stories. Perhaps Cassian's sister becomes Snoke, or Cassian's sister is the apprentice of Darth Jar Jar. Maybe. Who knows? If we're not told a definitive answer, anything, and I mean anything, is technically possible. So Cassian's sister could be the apprentice of Darth Jar Jar. Wow, what a story that would be. Luthen sat forward. I don't agree with the fact that Luthen's feet are going to be on those studs. So again, like we were saying earlier, let's get a brick separator and flip it around. Because LEGO have tried to please, or the designers specifically of this set have tried to please everyone. Putting the studs on the feet, then the studs on the bum. I think they should have chosen one and stuck with it. And the perfect one is on the bum because you don't have the closed stud, less chance of the minifigure breaking. But realistically, LEGO's pretty good quality and the chance of it breaking either way is very slim. Did I not just have the hand? I feel like I put the handles on this ship already, on this speeder. Did I drop them? Did I put them? Oh, look. I put them right here in front of the camera. Oh. And there we go. Casa can be driving. I'm not gonna stud the hands into it just yet, but look at the balance of that speeder. So that's not touching the desk at the front or the back. You can see it rocks, but the engine's so big that it just balances in there. Shame B2EMO doesn't have a seat on the back though. If we want to kick off Luthen, wacky fig anyway, we can put, hey, we could put K2SO on the back. There we go. Casa and oh, I've done a me, not K2SO, B2EMO. Cassian and B2EMO on the back, and B2 can keep Luthen's pistol. They might need it more than them. The very first piece is the piece that I don't have. So for these black elements with the bars that go 1 2 1 2, if you've built the set, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't built the set, it's another Technic element that has some various number that probably only shows up in a handful of sets. I have built instead, so step 26 this is, I have built these contraptions which act as those bars, and you can see I've already put in that element that you put in on step 28. So hopefully that will make some more sense. But besides that, and probably a few extra pins left over, this is going to be identical to what you're building. So, oh, that's not a pin. That's one of the thinner communication devices. Can't be messing that up this early. I have no hope. Like I said, besides that and the fact that we should probably put, there's one more pin just in the bottom one here. That's how they hold together. There we go. This is going to act as the exact same. Rather than inventing a new element, we have used, so LEGO would have used just one in the middle there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. LEGO have used 8 pieces. I've used 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22. Instead of 8, I've used 22. And this is where the part counts are going nowadays with LEGO Star Wars sets. They're going to the more detail. I mean, this is not more detailed. A little bit more detailed, and you've got a bit more posability with where they can go. But that will soon be stopped when it's fitting to the big bracket. But that's where the piece counts are going. Now, they're going to detail. They're going into making sure they don't need to make any new elements and design brand new pieces just for one set. Otherwise, you end up with a set like the Crimson Firehawk, which, yeah, isn't the best of sets. Isn't the worst. I broke it down this morning, which goes to show you how far behind I am in breaking down my mocks. But I broke it down earlier today. It does go together pretty well. It's a shame about that giant piece at the front. I'd have preferred an A-wing front and back to make more use of that piece, and then some nice giant round plates. But I don't even know if they exist in red yet. Would have been the perfect opportunity in a 4+ set to invent them, to recolor them, as opposed to inventing a giant base that it's if you've built the Firehawk, or if you've bought the set for nubs and have seen all the pieces. That giant red element, there's no way LEGO are using that for anything else. The A-Wing base is perfect. Not just for the A-Wing, but for... yeah, kind of just for the A-Wing, but also for the Y-Wing, you can make that work. You can make it work for a wide X-Wing. Maybe like a W-Wing or something like that. But I don't see it working. That Crimson Firehawk base is not working for any other set. Not for any other ship that currently exists, unless they invent something and rebuild the galaxy for it that's just 2 of those back to back. Or maybe bring the Firehawk in somewhere else. Mando's meant to be getting a new Razor Crest, which yeah, makes me want the UCS one a little more, I will admit. It would be cool if they keep the UCS Razor Crest on the market, because I don't know if it's still available on LEGO. I know it's still available in a few other shops. I don't know straight from LEGO, but they could switch up the minifigures for the movie. Keep the Razor Crest, maybe even re-release the Razor Crest. We'll probably get a playset around the time. Maybe that playset will include Zeborelius. And that will give me a perfect time to ignore the playset and go for the UCSX. We already have a sequel trilogy. Well, Mandoverse sequel trilogy? It's not a sequel trilogy, that's too far, but it is a sequel to the originals. Mandoverse, I think, will suffice for it. We don't need to be grouping these up into broader categories. We just need to be finding this pin element. Reveal yourself. Little magic spell and it just starts glowing. I used to have an app for that. And it didn't work too great, but it did work all right. Can't remember the name of it now. But I did a video on it. Where it would highlight your pieces, show you what you can build and whereabouts they are. It wasn't half bad. If LEGO could come out with something like that. LEGO bought Bricklink. At this point, it's no longer a case of, oh, LEGO could do something like this. LEGO bought Bricklink. They could buy pretty much anyone and decide that's it, they're doing that now. There are some that they won't buy. You know, Lepin. Don't see LEGO buying any competitors or anything like that. But never say never. If LEGO want to just mass produce a ton of old sets, most of this is ABS plastic already. So LEGO really don't have much else to be doing. They just buy them out, get the licenses for them. That's going to be the hard part. A set that was made so many years ago. You look at Jabba's Palace. Chances are LEGO will never make another Jabba's Palace that look like Jabba's Palace, especially with a Rancor pit below. Maybe a UCS one, but it won't look like the Palace because of alleged recent problems creating it with the Book of Boba Fett. So that does suck. We'll never get a UCS Jabba's Palace, but we did get a katana, Jabba's Sail Barge, the katana, and honestly, I think that's probably Jabba's set for the next 5-10 years. Maybe 10 years, no more Jabba because we got the UCS set. Hopefully it stays on shelves a bit longer than the AT-AT, but it is a brown shoe at the end of the day. If the AT-AT was a grey dog, the katana is a brown shoe. So I don't know about its lifespan. I don't know how long it will stay around. I'm just hoping long enough that I have time to pick it up and can have a little break between all of the LEGO, because we have got LEGO for, well, at the minute we've got LEGO through till May with that Dark Falcon, but I also want to be picking up the U-Wing, picking up Ahsoka's Eater, which is all possible thanks to you. Shout out to you guys. But that's going to take us through till probably the August releases. And August is expensive. We've been talking a lot about June, how cheap June is. A lovely month to be buying LEGO Star Wars because we've got the 3 cheap sets. It's followed up with probably the most expensive LEGO Star Wars playset drops in the history of LEGO Star Wars. There have been more, UCS sets alone probably make up half of the wave. But as far as playsets go, I don't know if we've ever had as many LEGO Star Wars playsets, especially to have 2 100 and something pound playsets coming out, which is just a rumour. They might not both be £100, they both might not be even coming out at the same time. And LEGO could always delay one if they do want to release one later on in the year towards Christmas, which is a perfect opportunity unless LEGO are going to do a Captain America again. Let's please not have a repeat of that. But August is going to be pricey. Not just a load of clone sets, but then we're following it up with the 8080 as well, the Christmas 8080 from Rebuild the Galaxy. Maybe a little Christmas episode in there. Perfect time to do it. A lot of these tan pieces are just flying by. I know they're here. Well, I don't know they're here actually. I'm double guessing myself at every single one, but I'm pretty sure they're here. Well, this is orange, not tan. That might be why. Not that it's making it much different. All right, that's it. I'm getting the orange ones. I'm getting replacement oranges. I'm so happy that LEGO have switched up the way they do instructions, because the amount of old sets we've been building, and I've been talking about it as well, how difficult they were to follow. The browns, the darker colours, generally the lot of them. Nice clear backgrounds. Right. Ooh. Interesting. This must be for one of the sides, because it looks like we've got these little blasters. Take a look at this. These little blasters going out. One on each side. Pew pew, pew pew. Quite fun, and we've still got the ability to move these down, but later on, the reason I built it like this, and we've got a few extra bricks, just Technic beams in the middle, is because I think it's a Technic, I think these Technic bricks go either side and it's locked in with plates. I can't remember exactly how it is, but there's also a Technic beam just sitting in the middle. There's absolutely There we go. Thank you for letting me know. Don't know why the mic just died there. How peculiar. Hopefully that keeps it up. I think it's running on fumes at the minute. That's not good. If it goes again, we might have to switch to phone audio. No. That should be all right. Do have it plugged in actually. So, oh, there. No, no. Right, let's see. There we go. Hopefully that's going through. Ah, it's phone audio. Oh no, the audio quality is terrible. That's all right. There's at least what, almost an hour's worth of audio to get people in. If you're watching at this point, I do apologise for the audio, but it is better than nothing. So I guess we are working with what we've got. I was recording actually it was the X-Wing video, and I was recording it and my mic was playing up. I bet it's because it was slowly dying. Teaches me I should be charging the case at all times, but saves the mic weighing down my top. try to find the positives here. Are we meant to be doing this twice? Are we meant? I feel like we're meant to be doing this twice. We get to a step in the instructions and we're using, you know, these pink round by round 2x2 round plates, and we've also got this 4x4. We don't have another 4x4. We only have this turntable. Maybe we don't. There was also these 2x3s in medium yellow, dark yellow, light orange. Is that? I have gone with orange because it is a more popular colour. I just got more of those laying around. Can't be said about all of these elements, but about most of them. Audio good? Hopefully. Well, good as it can be. Isn't half bad. Still better than what I started with all those years ago. Let me know if you think I should turn it up just a little bit, or if the Lego noise is too loud or too quiet. We need a Lego mic now. Better than none, exactly. It is better than none. We can still talk about Andor. I don't really know what to expect besides, you know, Krennic showing up. We've got Miro and Cyril. It'll be interesting to see what happens with them, because we know of a few spies in the ISB. What else can be going on? Is anything going to happen? Because Dedra's had these moments of hesitation where the Imperial machine is not churning as efficiently as it should be. And eventually could this lead to someone perhaps leaving, someone having enough and being like, right, it's not efficient, I'm rooting for the rebels now. Maybe not something as drastic as that, but we could definitely see perhaps a similar situation to Hux. Hux wasn't for the Resistance in the sequel trilogy, but Hux was still plotting against Kylo Ren and the other Imperials because he didn't want the Resistance to win. He just wanted Kylo to lose at that point. Could Dedra perhaps be, in trying to prove a point, then rooting for the Empire and her fellow colleagues, her Imperial colleagues, to lose due to their inefficiency? I can see that for Dedra. I think that could be a fun little plot point. I know it's kind of been explored with characters like, well, it's kind of been used with characters like Hux, but it really hasn't been explored. It really hasn't been explored yet. So I'd love to see something like that in Andor. The way that they could tell it would be so much deeper than anything we could have got in, you know, a few minutes screen time in Rise of Skywalker. Because that project being split, I think it's Tony Gilroy who's working on Andor, the director. And he did want full control over the story and the likes. I assume he's also writing it. I don't know about that. We'll have to check that one. But I do know he wanted more control over the series and eventually got it. And it seems to have paid off because Andor Season 1 did amazing. We're now so excited for Season 2. We're going back and building old Lego sets. When did Season 1 come out? It doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I have got the bias of literally just finishing the show a couple days ago. So, a couple days ago, yesterday I think it was actually. Feels like it's been a couple days already, waiting for this. If you don't have enough of these 1x2 brackets, there's just a step. Look at this. So we got 1, 2. I do need 6 of these. 3. we'll start with 3. And a 1x6. And LEGO have got you just to line it up. It does work because it closes the gap at the top. But they've got us just to line these 3 up and put them over the side here to form a little barricade. You could change them out for these door hinges, which pop up as well throughout this set. Not that I can find any right now, you have to take my word for that. But door hinges, you could use 2 brackets, 1 either side. There's a door hinge. You could also use 1 bracket in the middle if you want to risk it. We've got doors going over this either side, so it should hold it in pretty well. But yeah, Andor Season 2, there's just so much that can be happening. I don't know, this might make me go back into creating different fan theories of what could happen, because the possibilities have never been more endless than they are right now with Andor, I can tell you that. The amount of different ways they could go. We've got 4 years. That's all we've got. 3 episodes on each year in a 12 episode series. And yeah, there's so many ways they can do those 4 years. It's Star Wars. There's so many ways they can run anything. But these specific 4 years are all we've got of Andor's story. They're filled in his childhood. It's pretty much the same in and out up to Andor Season 1. We then have a really bad year for Andor. And now we've got another, well, a bad year. I feel like Andor Season 1 was about a year's... was there a few years towards the end? Probably a year or 2. And then we have Andor's final 4 years building up to Rogue One. I don't think that includes Rogue One. I think that includes up to a year before Rogue One. So it makes sense if the final 3 episodes are Andor joining the rebellion. I'm looking for the pieces in the wrong colours. That's why I can't find them. Look at that, straight away. Maybe that's what they'll end up with. They'll end off with Andor joining the rebels. Perhaps pulling off a big heist that then sees... Because as of A New Hope, they had just dissolved the Senate, blown up Alderaan. All that happens in A New Hope, right at the start of A New Hope. So... yeah, there's so much where we are in Andor Season 1. Not too much changes compared to those final years that we're now covering in Andor Season 2. Politically, the Senate during Andor Season 1 and Coruscant in general. Also, by the way, does this not remind you of... what was the other ship from Rogue One? The one with the giant... I'm not sure about this part on top. This is more like a... more like a separatist shuttle, but these 4 Technic beams on the outside, do they not remind you of that ship on Scarif that everyone and their dog has mocked up at that time of the movie's release? But it does kind of look, maybe this snout as well, maybe if you look at it from this angle it looks a bit more like that ship, but maybe that's a little Easter egg they've snuck in. Maybe I'm just reading too much into a Lego set, but either way, that's pretty cool that it does look like it. But 4 years, all this happening in just 4 years. The Clone Wars, how long was the Clone Wars? 6 years? Not too much different than 4 years. So what's going to happen in 4 to 6 years? 4 to 6 May 4th gift with purchases, eh? Oh, next year. What's next year's... what anniversaries do we have next year? It's a 6. So none of the originals, because the originals were a 7, 0 and 3. 77, 80 and 83. The prequels were 99, 02 and 05. The sequels was 15, 17, 19. 18 was Solo, which means 16. 16 was Rogue One. Ooh, maybe next year's gift with purchase will finally give us Galen Erso. But I do think Galen Erso would be an odd choice, given the fact that any other Rogue One character wouldn't have been available. K2SO might still be on the market, but K2SO aside, and I guess allowing for the fact that Andor's slightly different in the U-Wing, no other Rogue One character would have been available for years at that point. So, for years at this point as well. So it might be a bit weird to get someone like Galen Urso, but it would be cool nonetheless. I really would like to get Galen Urso polybag. Baru Lars didn't exactly go with a Sandcrawler or any other sort of Tatooine build. I don't think there was a Luke Landspeeder besides the UCS one available at the time. That's the question. We got a UCS Landspeeder with Baru Lars. Really cool minifigure. Actually, the torso is exclusive, which is the easiest part to decal, and that's it. The dress piece is available elsewhere. The head is the same as Flume from Harry Potter, as well as the Weasley mum. And even more 1x2s. No, I must have just completely missed the orange parts. But the hairpiece is Luke's, which is used on every single version of Luke. So it's a nice minifigure to try and decal on your own if you don't want to spend. The minifigure's only worth probably like £10–15. Probably about 20. 20's pushing it, considering I here in the UK can pick up the gift with purchase, new, sealed in box, not just at that one store we went to, but online very, very easily. For £25, I don't see the minifigure being worth much more than that. And that's probably because anyone that really wants the figure and doesn't want to pay for it, like me, is decaling out the pieces as well. I haven't done it yet, but it is only a matter of time. If I ever need an Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, I'll definitely be turning to decal torsos of all things. Yeah, it still looks like a Separatist shuttle. That's what I'm seeing now. More than anything, as we build it out, Separatist shuttles just ringing in my ears. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to speed build this. Got a speed build tank. We've got to have a stream where I just head down and speed build him. But by the looks of it, this is going to fit a ton of minifigures. You only get Cyril in the set that fits with the theme of the ship. You can definitely fill it with clone troopers, which I might have to do. Maybe some rebels have hijacked a vehicle as well. This would go not half bad with a rebel display. Maybe paint it up, add a bit more colour. There's a few stickers that are on the outside of the ship, but they're not really colourful. They're just a bit orange and a few different markings of that. You get Sabine to dress it up nice. That would go lovely. Also, I think I'm posting the short tomorrow because I got the days completely messed up. But I'm changing the windscreen. Rather than trying to find an alternate piece to the windscreen, because the point of this is not buying the set. So I could buy the minifigures, I could buy the pieces, buy the stickers, but then I might as well buy the set second hand. And if I'm buying the set, it isn't as fun as trying to alternate some of the elements that we've used. So as opposed to buying a windscreen piece or using one that I've got that is unmarked, I have gone with brick building it. Which if it doesn't work, we're going to need to rethink that later and try and find new elements for it. It's going to be a lot easier trying to build something when the model's built. I don't recommend trying to build it based on other sets because I was trying to look at how big it is and all the different components, all the different angles of the printing as well on it and the other places that this cockpit has been used. Very, very difficult job. I was making life very difficult for myself. I'd have been better building this up quickly, breaking it back down before the stream, but I have concocted this element here, which I think will hold up to the same dimensions and similar proportions with bigger windows. Why, I say windows, I just mean voids and complete empty gaps. But it will be interesting to see if that fits first straight away, or if we do indeed need to make the odd little modification to get it to fit and to work something in. Ooh. I am struggling today finding elements. I bet some of them are still underneath. I should lay this out. That's what we're working with so far. Ain't bad for about an hour in. Ain't bad whatsoever. If you end up seeing a round 2x2 plate on the screen, point to where it is and channel through the force where channel the location, and perhaps I'll be able just to reach in and grab it. But I'm convinced that when I'm parting out these sets, I now use Lego because, well, I don't trust Bricklink or Brickset or even Brick Owl now that that's made a mistake on us. Or I've made a mistake on it, one way or another. We don't trust any of those sites, so I go through the Lego instructions, and there's always one piece, isn't there? There's always one piece that doesn't stick out in a sea of grey. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe we're putting too much... Hello there! Marius Tracewiz. Ooh. That does sound like a... That's a fun name. Marius. We're currently looking for a 2x2 plate, so... It was underneath a piece. Anyway, back to this set. Oh, Lego is fun. Lego is fun. Ignore how long it takes me to build a straightforward set. Are we excited for Andor Season 2? I'm going to assume everyone watching this video is watching this in excitement for Season 2. Are we ready? Are we ready for the end of Andor? This is only part 1. I know this is the first arc, and I'm more excited, I think, for the fact that we've got 4 years broken up into 3 episode arcs. Clone Wars might be wrapped, but it's always with us in one way or another, and I think this show is really pushing in on that Clone Wars style. 12 episodes, 3 to an arc, 4 years, so we're jumping about as well. Could you imagine if we watch Andor Season 2 and all of a sudden we start off at the end? The first 3 episodes are him joining the Rebel Alliance, or however it goes. The 2 episodes have been revealed at Star Wars Celebration, so we should know roughly what's going on in them. Not that I've been looking at them. And then we jump back like 2 years, then we go forward a year, and then it ends with the start of Season 2, setting up all these 9 episodes we've just watched. Trust Star Wars would be the one show that would do something like that, but I don't think they're going to be messing around too much with Andor. I think it's going to be a lot of meaty, juicy content and not leaving much up to the imagination. You know, Cassian's sister, I don't think we'll get an answer. Doesn't mean we won't, we might. I have been wrong many, many times before. I do think they're going to leave that one up to our imagination, though. And then everything else, I think B2EMO does have a chance, even if B2EMO doesn't go into K2SO, which we have seen in Solo. Star Wars might not want to reuse that. B2EMO sacrificing themselves might also be... I feel like we've seen that a lot of the times as well, though. A droid sacrifice. Like with 3PO in the sequels. Almost R2 in Phantom Menace. Though plot armor saves the day. Either way, I'm expecting a comic run about B2EMO for sure. Oh, I definitely don't have these elements. Maybe this is what I used actually on the I might have used these blue 3-length pins on the actual build already, forgetting the fact that they were needed here. Yeah, that's a me problem. That. Good thing I have so many of them lying around, and I wonder how many of you. So we probably know these 3x pins in blue are the friction pins, and then we've got these tan ones which look almost white that aren't the friction pins. They're the ones that move around and can spin. But we've also got these frictionless pins which are in grey, which are in the bike sets. And how many do we need? 4? I'm going to assume 4 is enough and keep that to hand. 4 is not enough even. But it is... yeah, the grey ones are from the bikes for the wheels, so they also are frictionless, but the stopper is at one end as opposed to being a third of the way through, which is handy. We've seen them not just with the bikes. I think the Onyx Cinder has a few of them in, and they're handy to put in right at the end, but they're also a pain to get out because these blue ones, you know, you pop them apart and then you just got to take the bricks, whereas those ones are in at one side, so it's not like you've got a little handle to grab at. Once you take off the external brick, you've got to take it off and pull it all the way out. yeah, it's definitely not meant to be removed as easy. Mind you, I don't think the bike one's meant to be removed at all. There's no easy way to get that off whatsoever. And this is built just like the same, just like before. Bit different, not the same, but very, very similar. And this is again on the inside. I like it when LEGO do this. They just hide the Technic away in actual system studs, because then it doesn't feel like Technic. Is it really Technic? I know it's Technic, but I forget about it when the ship's built. Out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. We are halfway, to some extent, through the build. It might not look like much. We are about a third through the pieces. But we're halfway because we're on bag 3. Bag 1 must have literally just been the speeder bike. And that was it. So I think after this bag will be about halfway, if that. It's usually a lot more details, and can't wait for the plate work at the end. 2 of these. And this. Oh, we're trapping the legs of this thing. We can't move it around. Just like the AT-AT, we're going to be putting little covers on here, and that locks it in nice and solid. I assume we're going to have some arms, maybe not some arms, maybe we're going to have some hinges or something on the bottom. There's no ball joints in this set, so they're not going to be ball joints. Oh, I only looked through this, what, last night, when I was parting the set out. Come on. In you go. And I'm going to assume we're doing this on the other side. Oh no. Oh, we do have a clip though. So this could be the door. It's 6 wide. This is only 4 wide. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this isn't the door, because it's not wide enough. Only one way to find out. Build. And there's also, is there enough for a second one of these? It only wants us to build 1. And it's symmetrical, which means it's probably, can't be for the back side. It might be for the top. It might be for the top. As I said, one way to find out. Let's get building. And I was about to say we're on a roll finding pieces. Won't be saying that. Besides Andor Season 2, we've got Underworld as well, May 4th, which is going to be hidden amongst all the other LEGO content we do. I do want to make some custom characters for Underworld actually, so I'll try and get that video out as close to the time. Oh, it's right at the front. This isn't even up. It's to be put right at the bottom. How far in? 1 back, so just in there. And that, by the looks at the back here, is our interior space. Maybe get a little table. LEGO like their tables, you know, their beds. They're common city builds, I like to call them. There's always usually like a TV, a bed, a table. I think we got a bed and a table in the Onyx Cinder. We see a bed and a table fit in for the ship, but as soon as they got handed the images of the Onyx Cinder, the LEGO design team, and they saw the bed, the table, straight away they built the ship around the bed and the table. I think I could convince myself that they built the table and these on the outside, the table and the bed first, and then worked everything else around it. I say there's no ball joints. There are these little axles, but there's definitely no ball joint plates in this build. So what are these for? Are these to hold that in there? Are we going to get some Technic pins back in the backside? Oh, fancy little headrests on these. So we got brown brick with like a dark nougat, I think that colour is. And then a shiny little headrest. Proper fancy. I assume that's the shiny piece. Definitely, yeah, it's got a little glow effect. Didn't notice that. We need 4 of these. 4 headrests, 4 seats. Space for a minifigure or two in the middle, I might add. If you do, how many do we get on the team? Because we get 4, at least 4 on the ground. But is that including the officer and the... Is that including Cyril and the other guy? We also get a pilot, which is someone who then goes out. So do we get 4? Because we have them split up, and then we have them split up again. There's like East team, West team, and then they split up and they end up with just the 2 of them, whilst everyone else is just exploding. So I think there's 8. So we get 4 in here, and at least 1 in the cockpit. It's a 6-wide cockpit. We should be able to get 2 seats in there. But as you'll see with the U-Wing, LEGO tend to just go for 1 seat, even though technically there should be a little more. But we can fit 6 minifigures in here, maybe even 8 if we've got that extra stud on the side. But spaciously, without getting too cramped, we can comfortably fit 6 minifigures, plus the driver, maybe 2. Hello there, over on Twitch. Welcome to the stream. As you can see, building ambush on Ferrix, and that is disappointing. Only 1 seat at the front. I'm gonna hope that the other character doesn't need a chair. We only have the 1 chair, that should have given it away. But I'm gonna hope that the other character doesn't need a chair, and that we're gonna have a second minifigure, because they're just sloping out the side. Look at this. And LEGO tried to fit 2 minifigures in the front here. So the set can only seat 5, maybe 6, but there's definitely room for 8. I might have to modify this now. Might have to just modify it. How many of these? Just the 1? Just the 1 up the front. And I think this is where some of the controls are going. I think that's a 2x4 sticker sheet as well. I've started making a custom Rebel faction in Star Wars. I'll tell you what, let me get this piece and then I'll get... You might have already seen it because I do tend to show it off every chance I get. But I do have a custom Rebel faction. And... oh, where did I put it? That is the question. But there is a short wandering out there somewhere on the internet of my custom Rebel faction. Actually, I don't know where it's gone. I might have lost it. But my custom Rebel faction is a squad. It's not a faction. Admittedly, it's more of a squad. But it's got Gandalf, Luke, Harry Potter, and Wolverine, I think. Thank you, thank you. Yes, amassed it over the last 20 years. Oof, been collecting for quite a long time, but it is quite nice to see how many. I mean, I've got all the Luke Skywalker costumes at the minute, some of which LEGO haven't done, but there's so many torsos. Ninjago, I always point you towards Ninjago if you are a fan of customs, because the torsos, the detail on the torsos over in Ninjago is beautiful. Sometimes Ninjago will have a torso that works better than the official Star Wars version. I was looking at... So, some minifigures I don't have a lot of include Lando and a lot of the other Rebels. I would like to have more Rebels, because I have quite a few Imperials, so 9 Num is pretty high on the list. Both of which decent minifigures come in the Sarlacc pit. Not a great set, a bit expensive, but May 4th is the time to buy those expensive sets. And Separatists at the start of the Clone Wars, they use human militaries. Oh, I did not know that. I do know the B1s were more security droids and they were hanging around a bit, because we come across some B1 droids. I think it's in Master and Apprentice. It's in one of the Qui-Gon books. Doing the faction based on that. That's quite a good point. I'd also like to see a Rebel faction that uses B1s, because a lot of Rebels were in fact Separatists, because the Empire rose from the Republic. So I would like to also, maybe I can get a B1 Rebel, like a bit of face paint or whiteboard marker all over these B1 battle droids. Kids ain't going, but that sounds fun. Faction has a few B1s as well. We need B1. We need more B1s in LEGO. We're getting the odd B1 here and there, which I am grateful for, but we do need a few more, especially mismatched arms and legs. Yeah, especially the non-regular versions, which I suppose mismatched arms and legs, that's a good point. We just do that and create complete new characters. That's how I created Roger. A little bit of, I think that was a knockoff torso. I think that wasn't a Lego torso because it was in a reddish brown and I wanted it in a dark brown to match Rodder's. So I might have painted that one. With a 3D printer, I should go about making some really wacky rainbow B1 battle droids. How fun does that sound? 1, 2... No idea where my little Rebel squad is, but with Rebels, currently 18 minifigures. Yeah, that's a more impressive faction than mine was with the, what, 4 minifigures? When I can find them. There's not 4 at the minute. There's probably one hanging over there. In desperate need of backup. Ooh. I might have used this piece. I might not have meant to have used this piece, but I might have used it. Alright, let's go fetch another one. But yeah, with Lando and 9num, I was looking at picking up the set because I could get the set for almost, I think it's about 35% off. It's not quite half price, but it's almost half price. 45%, not 35. Only 35 was almost half price. But I was going to pick up the skiff, and looking at it, 9num, I had a, hello there, Kelly, over on YouTube. And I had a little look at all the other minifigures, which aren't as accurate. Luke Skywalker's got grey robes instead of black. Han's flipped. Chewie is the only minifigure that cannot be fixed. I mean, you could argue we could get a different, maybe some arm printing. What do we think about arm printing on a Chewbacca? Is that something we'd want to see? Or does that overcomplicate the figure a little bit? We are building the Ambush on Ferrix. Currently, the only Andor LEGO Star Wars set to exist. Of course, U-Wing coming out in a few days, but we are building the only Andor LEGO set right now. And it did look like a Separatist shuttle. It looked like the giant grey thing with the arms from Rogue One. It's looked like a bit of everything so far besides the tac pod it's meant to represent. Yeah, arms on Chewie. I could see LEGO doing that. After giving us Rex in a Y-Wing, and Vader's now common, R2-D2's now common, I'm hoping the UCS Luke is in the next X-Wing set. 3PO needs to be in every set with the dual molded leg when it suits, but actually using a lot of pets from Rogue One. From Rogue One Rebel Soldiers. Yeah, the pieces in that, there was a battle pack, and I don't know if it was Rogue One or if I'm thinking about the Battlefront one. But it came with some minifigures that had torsos and legs swapped to each other. I'm a big fan of that because you can just keep getting those sort of battle packs and amassing different figures. Or the same figures if you want everyone to dress the same. But it's handy when all you have to do is swap a piece or two. And then you've got a brand new minifigure. 3 of the Rogue One battle pack and 2 of the Battlefront. Nice. Yeah, I wasn't as big into collecting around the time of Rogue One, so there's not many Rogue One. I mean, I've got Scarif, and I've got the 2 bonus minifigures, the Trooper and the Droid. But besides that, I haven't picked up any of them. Bit of an army builder. Nothing wrong with a little army building. Nothing wrong whatsoever. That's half the fun of it. Army building's in some way, I guess, an investment, but as opposed to investing in it for the, financial side of it, we're investing for the armies, because if you buy the battle pack, so my first case of army building was really that 2020 501st battle pack. That's the first time I've looked at a set and thought, yeah, I'm gonna buy a few of those. And I ended up buying 6, 5 off Lego and 1 in the Entertainer. But the only other time I guess I have bought a few duplicates of sets. There was the final order battle pack as well with the officer in. That torso is my favourite LEGO Star Wars piece when it comes to minifigures. LEGO needs to make more Star Wars sets, and we could have all of them. Biggest army is a 192 custom Mad Max faction. Oh, I still need to watch Mad Max. I haven't watched. It's been on my list of movies to watch for a while now, and then with the new movie, is it the movie, the show coming out? It's been bumped up a few. Just finished watching Moana 2 today. I am partial to a Disney movie. That was pretty good. Sets it up for a few more as well. Moana's franchising. Everything's got a franchise. Needs to make a Jedi temple. They need to have made a Jedi temple. A lot of custom pieces like weapons and stuff. Some of the custom weapons. I mean, they're more action figure-y. I do get that. But I think weapons is the one element of LEGO that you can make. You can just customize, really go all in for, and it looks so good. Jedi Temple. I'm still behind the idea of a modular Jedi Temple. Same as Hogwarts. LEGO don't need to charge us up front, you know. A UCS Jedi Temple would look good, but similar to the Hogwarts Castle, similar to Jabba's Palace, LEGO probably aren't allowed to make a religious building or anything like that. No problem, see you in a sec. But if they release it modular, and they give us a little bit, I'm pretty sure that goes there. If they release it modular and give us little sections for it, get around the legality. I've got a custom molded blaster for Han and Greedo. I think I got a few Stormtrooper ones, and there's a few that Sam's given me over at Filoni Clones. I'm going to be honest, the other ones besides the Filoni Clones ones, I don't know where half the trooper guns and that have gone. But the custom molded weapons are, yeah, some of the detail on them. You could never get it with like a 3D printer. Could claim it's an order, not a religion. They could, and I think being it fictional, it doesn't really matter. It is a very niche argument that few people are arguing. A similar reason why we get Jedi in the first place, because you could argue, well, if it is some sort of religion, there's a whole faith system to it. No matter how real the Force seems from the perspective of the wheels, if they couldn't do a Jedi temple, LEGO couldn't do Jedi, because the Jedi are attached. They are the Jedi of the temple. So the fact that we get Jedi means I think they could do a Jedi temple. And like I say, this is nothing that LEGO will ever come out about, but it is Knights and Masters. It's more of a castle, isn't it? The Jedi Temple, because of where it is, I mean, High Republic might be a little different, but at the time of the Republic and the Clone Wars, it's more of a castle or a police headquarters. I know LEGO have had their problems with police sets as well, so let's stick with castle over police, but yeah, it is more of a castle. I like that. I like that look. We've got King Yoda. We need a medieval. After the samurai style, and Fortnite have given the LEGO Star Wars characters, the LEGO Samurai Star Wars characters from Celebration, actual LEGO skins. I would love to see either samurai, maybe a knights themed, and maybe Rebuild the Galaxy is something that can bring that to fruition. The castle sets do well with the same sort of crowds that the Star Wars sets do. Hondo Onaka. Give us a Hondo Onaka minifigure in Rebuild the Galaxy, please and thank you. If we're getting Jackson, we need Hondo. We didn't get Hondo with Rebels, did we? Did we get Hondo Onaka with a Rebels set? I think I would remember that. We might have got a Clone Wars set, but it's been ages. Yeah, is the minifigure the Clone Wars one? We got Hondo and a few of his pirates. Yeah, the pirate tank, that's the one. But we do need another one. Especially with Hondo coming to Outlaws. That brand new DLC could have a little Lego set, like a £15 you have the Hondo Onaka minifigure. Oh, I bet it goes for a price now if I were to look it up. I might have to keep an eye out for a little custom one of a update design, a bit like Revan. Revan has a minifigure, but it's from a time where really all you're getting is torso and head printing. the golden edition of Star Wars Outlaws. I tell you what, we're playing Fortnite in May, playing through that Star Wars season, and then we're playing Repo. At some point, eventually, Outlaws might have to be the next game. Haven't played Outlaws, haven't played a single second, haven't watched Outlaws either actually, which is surprising, because even though I got Fallen Order straight away, I was still watching someone play Fallen Order. I guess Outlaws is the sort of thing that I know I'll probably eventually get. I almost got it at Christmas, so close to doing it. I think, had I been streaming games, I would have got it at the start of December, happily. So, it's only a matter of time before we get Outlaws, but Hondo Onaka has cemented that. I have to get that little bonus quest. I think it's an add-on pack, isn't it, for Hondo? Same with Jabba, Lando. Ooh, adding this top bit on has made it very firm. Nice swooshability if they've gone extra little bit. Another large rebel faction. Yeah, there has always been a load of... So we've got... I guess we've got Saws, which is dwindling as we go towards A New Hope. And we've got a few different ones. And then we've got like the little separatist ones that are no doubt introduced in comics. But there's no real big rebel faction. Even Saw Gerrera's faction is deemed extremist. But Saw, when we look at the history, our history, and all the military history specifically... Saw isn't that something that could rival it. We do need some sort of, maybe they're not even against the Empire. Maybe this is for their own empire. That could be something, so that the Empire are trying to hold them back, but they're also not on the side of the rebels. Because that's why a lot of this in Andor, a lot of the activity is sort of dismissed as, oh, they're just trying to, overthrow the Empire, no biggie. And we haven't seen that, have we? We haven't really seen anyone have that opinion. Because they're all just thrown in with the rebels, and then it adds up to something too large, and the Empire can't swallow what they've bitten off. So that would be quite good. Look at Northern Ireland's history, many paramilitaries, yeah. That'd be something that I guess Star Wars kind of... No, they haven't really done, have they? They haven't. I want to say, oh, hello there. Just subbed over on Twitch. Still working our way to 50 followers over there as well. So we can get polls up. Sorry, I missed your name. It'll pop up in just a second. But thank you so much. Forgot I had those alerts on. Little shock. The other one. Yeah, it's not something that LEGO really are pushing, even if it is in the comics. I think the comics have so much getting done for them. They don't really count, do they? Like, the comics happen, we accept them, but they don't happen as well as a more militarized version of the Rebel Alliance. The Rebel Alliance is a bit of ragtag criminals as we see them, aren't they, almost? Yeah, I think with Saw Gerrera's bunch, they all seem extremist. The only problem is we get like Saw. I think the thing with them is they're just out to hurt the Empire. They don't mind if they get hurt. They just want to do more damage, which I don't think is on the same level as this. We do need to see. I mean, we could just keep getting rebels. I don't think we're ever going to stop seeing little groups, even with something like the New Republic. The New Republic isn't immune to what they're going to call rebels. Mimban rebels who fought in trench warfare against the Empire. Yeah, all the rebel attacks seem to be, sneaking around. There you go, that's the problem. That's the problem with rebel groups. A lot of sneaking around, little digs here against the Empire, whereas something like Mimban, could you imagine? But rebels fighting the Empire. It's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. That would be a fun story. That would have its own series though. That would need... There's so much storytelling you could do on that. Maybe maybe what we need is something a bit like pure World War One. Basically, what we it's like the don't play much Call of Duty, but I did play. I think it was called COD World War One, something like that. A bit like the campaign for that. But what we'd need for that is actually a game rather than a series, because as far as storytelling, there's only so much they can point out. I think it would be better if you were in the action. So Zero Company just got announced, which is more blue pins. Zero Company is a tabletop game, and that follows like this Jedi clone. There's a few characters. I don't really know the point of the story, but if we had probably a shooter game would probably work better for this type of story. They could also do it as some tabletop game, but a shooter game might work best, where we can, follow this group of rebels that are not going quietly. They are, pushing on Imperial fronts, and we're not speaking about, a squad of 4 or even 18, but we're talking about perhaps 100, perhaps 1,000. The Rebel Alliance, as we've come to know, under Mon Mothma and the various leaders, are all for making 10 men feel like 1,000. What if you actually had 1,000 men, women, and all these people that might not get along at the start? Perhaps they can build up a story. If this was to be a game, you'd probably have a recruitment process at the start, and you'd have maybe a little sneaking around, and then suddenly either the Empire's pinned down or they're pinned down, but they've amassed this giant army. Not just a little ragtag group of rebels, but an entire army. Whew, that's clean. An entire army that can actually fight against a garrison of stormtroopers. That would be terrifying from the Imperials' perspective. But also, I think as a game, there is so much compelling story you can add into those style of fights. They might be able to make it a series. I do feel like when it shows up Mimban in Solo, there's so much going on in Mimban. We now know that Andor, was it? Was it Andor that fought in Mimban late on? And Han, I suppose, was probably closer to the start of the fight, and they didn't really know what was going on there. But yeah, something like that. But suggestion for a large rebel militarized faction. All right, Star Wars, listen up. We are giving you ideas here. We want none of the credit. We just want an awesome game or show out of it. That's all we want. Maybe a Lego set as well. Could you imagine an ultimate battle pack? Like I can't say UCS. I mean, collectors would definitely love it. But a UCS style battle pack where we're getting like 20 stormtroopers, 20 rebels, all with different markings and that. Lego can mix and match to keep costs low. But a giant battle pack that you can just buy and fill the place with all these little stamps and, hey, just subscribed. Hello there. Dark Country, I got that one. And XZLV7 from earlier on. Shout out to the both of yous. Bunch of separatist militias. Is that how you pronounce that word? I always get confused with this and like corpse, core. I think it's pronounced core. Might be corpse, but either way, bunch of separatists band together using old Clone Wars tech. More reason for a Lego set, fighting a large-scale battle against the Empire. And also, not only would they be fighting against the Empire, but when you think about these giant battles, what you're not getting with these little rebel dolls that we're seeing is also the environment. You're not just fighting against the people, but whether it's in trenches or whether it's elsewhere across these different terrains, you're also fighting against the conditions and having to set up. That is, we are onto something there. I might have to look into trying to make my own little, switch up from Lego into making my own, yeah, just show or game, get straight into making it, yeah. But the conditions of it on top, yeah, that's some gold right there we've stumbled upon. That is some gold. Yeah, surprising we haven't, because that's what I pair up with Saw Gerrera, but Saw's rebels are nothing like that. They're deemed extremists because they would give up their lives, whereas the Rebel Alliance, we see it in Rogue One. The Rebel Alliance aren't just not extreme. I would say the Rebel Alliance is very pacifist. It's very, oh well, if we will get hurt or others will get hurt, let's not do that. Even when it comes to attacks on the Imperials, they only sent in a few X-Wings to protect the U-Wing. They didn't even send in a squad to necessarily fight the Empire. Yeah, could you imagine a giant Lego mock based on something like Mimban? I'll tell you what, I'll be surprised if someone hasn't made a Mimban mock yet. I have to have a little look at that. I'm sure someone's given it a go. We get enough info from Solo. And also Andor now. I don't remember. It was somewhere on Aldani when they were speaking. It was it was the guy from the Bear, and it was Andor speaking about their military experience. And yeah, I can't remember where the other guy was, but I'm pretty sure Andor said something about Mimban, or it might have been the other guy that was on Mimban, but one of them was. Mimban itself, get Mimban, because with Mimban they weren't rebels, it was the locals, wasn't it, that Coconut Bricks Studios is making Mimban. Oh, shout out Coconut Bricks. That is something, I haven't watched Coconut Bricks for quite some time, but Mimban is gonna be, whew. Yeah, Coconut Bricks, I've watched a few. I mean, a while back I used to watch a few of the different mocks, because the way Coconut Bricks did the little trenches and the caves through different buildings and set up the armies was pretty spot on to what you'd see in, you know, we talking about World War One. It's similar to reconstructions I've seen of that. So I bet Mimban's gonna look awesome. That's one thing. As soon as I have a large enough place to get a few more, you know, sets and that on display, having, similar to the Minecraft world actually, having a giant Star Wars mock that I can just keep updating is something that is very, very high on my list. Every time a new project or something comes out, you know, I'm talking complete overhauls of it and adding more factions and building on it. So I have to check that out. I know I'll be watching when I'm breaking down my next LEGO Star Wars build. Mimban in LEGO. I'm trying to think how many Mimban sets, because we did get the TIE Fighter that come with a few. Welcome back, Kelly. Just talking about LEGO Mimban. We did get a TIE Fighter that I think come with a Mimban. That might have been a Han Solo, it might have been a generic character. But I don't remember any other Mimban specific sets coming out. I guess also that hauler that they nicked, I guess that works too. Although that was definitely from the snowy planet, as opposed to Mimban. That's where that got nicked from. Ooh, I like this connection. Tell you what, I'm impressed with how LEGO have put this together. That's solid. Yeah, that's not going nowhere. I might have to check my desk for deads after that. A Mad Max world. Yeah, I've got to finish Minecraft, because I think the idea of a Minecraft world. We do also have the city, and you can't see it. Just down at the bottom, actually 2 shelves below this little R2 collection, we've got the rest of the city. We've got the LEGO Store Tower and the Sitcom Tower, because I just can't bring myself to get rid of that. But we've probably got enough space on one of these shelves to start a little Star Wars mock, because something I'm really interested in playing at is the different levels. Getting a, you know, a base plate down and then stacking a base plate on top of it. Maybe even getting a base plate on top of that and getting some ships in the skies. That would be... The bad guys, it was Skeen. Yes, Skeen. I still don't know the guy who plays him, but his name was Skeen in Andor. I can't remember what Skeen fought in though. Skeen had missed 2 pieces. Oh, good thing I caught that out. Skeen had a little backstory as well. Wow, look at the they've got two slopes meeting. I guess the rest of it's squared off, but then you've got a few different accents on it. This is really nice. I'm happy I've gone back to build this. But Skeen and Andor were exchanging Imperial stories, and yeah, maybe Skeen was on Mimban too. I think he was local, but I don't think he was on Mimban. Right, let's get this ready for the other side and do the same but flipped, I'm assuming. I'm definitely going to be pushing for a Mimban. Maybe Coconut Bricks will give us the Mimban story that we all want. After Star Wars Underworld, I'll be really surprised how into the Underworld they go, because the Sarge Ventress, you know, doesn't start off in the Underworld, so I feel like there's already one episode that's gone awry. Like, one episode that's not going to be about the Underworld. It will probably be a Sarge being trained, and then we'll have the Underworld stories. Cad Bane also doesn't seem like he grew up in the Underworld. It does seem it was more of a... maybe it was the Underworld he grew up in, but it seems more of a family place, which you don't really pair up with the Underworld stories. And I'm assuming, you know, something happened, Cad Bane had to leave and turn to the Underworld. There we go. But I'm going to be intrigued to see if all of the stories are Underworld. Maybe they are, and we'll find out in a few days. But we've got Andor, we've got this, and then we've got a long wait. We've got nothing. Well, I guess we've got Fortnite up to June, which is still quite story based. So I'm going to be all into that. I do like when the Fortnite. I kind of following along less and less as the seasons go on. So maybe Star Wars is going to drag me back under, get me interested in Fortnite. And by the time that fizzles out, we've got Visions, Volume 3. I'm so excited for Child of Hope, which is the sequel to The Ninth Jedi and the prequel to The Ninth Jedi show. I can't believe we're getting more Visions. That is what the Visions show was for. To eventually have some spin-off series of their own content. Ah, yes. So I'm happy that Visions is starting to get spin-off shows, but I don't know if everything's riding on this. Because if The Ninth Jedi, I think it will be the second most popular story. Ninth Jedi was the one that interested me most, and I did like the twins, but I think Ronan could have, the Ronan could have a story based. Apparently Ronan was meant to show up in The Ninth Jedi. I don't know if they're going to cross these, if we get like a what if, Marvel what if, they all come together from their different what ifs and fight off a bigger threat. Is Palpatine in Fortnite? Palpatine's coming to Fortnite through portals, as far as we're aware. Is Palpatine going to cross over into Visions, and now the Ronin, the Ninth Jedi, and all these other characters from Visions, Wedge Antilles from that one Aardman short, are they all going to have to fight Palpatine? Are they all going to get Fortnite skins and Lego minifigures, and suddenly Palpatine gets banished to rebuild the galaxy Season 2? How crazy could this storyline go if they try to canonize absolutely everything? I think that could go berserk with it. We might be stretching Star Wars here. We just want our one Mimban story and it can all go back to normal. Oh, I think this is different from before. It might not be. Oh no, it's not. It's the exact same. My bad. There you are. I'm curious the future for Visions, because it does seem like Visions is our what if. Rather than, you know, taking characters and spinning them, I think Visions is better than what if. Purely on the basis of they can tell any story with any character, as in not just, you know, taking Luke, Vader, any of those, but reinventing the characters. So we can get our what ifs with Visions. Ninth Jedi has the colour changing sabers, which is going to be explored. Perhaps that is the what if. What if, you know, Anakin Sable's red on Mustafar style what if? Nope, there we go. Thought I was working magic there. And then they're less what ifs, aren't they? They're not really what ifs whatsoever. Scratch that. Oh. Next page first. Oh no, going crazy. I think it's because it's on its side. I thought that this plate was in a different orientation to this plate, but I think it's because I'm building it this way and it's on the screen that way. Yeah, I guess what if is more of a taking characters and spinning them. I don't know which one I prefer. Having got a what if for Marvel and a Visions for Star Wars, I'm not sure if I can definitively say I'd prefer one or the other. I do think it's more of a case of both of them are special for their own thing, the way they work it, you know? If I had to pick one, I think I'd take Visions. I think we've got Visions, we don't have what if. I know the unknown can always be more tempting, but with what we've got from Visions, I think I'd happily take Visions, because what if you can spin a story and not like the outcome because it's not your what if? And yeah, I think it would be cool seeing how we've got a few games that have explored a what if scenario for Star Wars, and I think we'll be grateful for those. If I had to pick between those and Visions, I mean, I haven't played any of the what if games, so it's an easy Visions win for me. And Outlaws. Outlaws does feel like it's, you know, what if Han did this? What if Han did that? Because we now know where Han starts off into smuggling, gets caught up with Lando and the gang, and then, well, it wasn't Lando's idea, and then ends up on Tatooine working for Jabba. So, you know, wrong people. I guess he was also working for Lady Proxima beforehand in Solo. That's what we see just at the start. That's the one that can't see the sunlight, Lady Proxima. But it's, yeah, I guess KVS is what if Solo wasn't stuck working for Lady Proxima or Jabba, and that's what Solo probably would be doing, smuggling goods, not people, around the, well, maybe people. He accepted Luke and Obi-Wan. Oh, I'm looking for this element. Oh, let's look for the slope now. There we go. Yeah, I still think there is a very fine line between smuggler and bounty hunter. Bounty hunter, yeah, it's more of a dead or alive, I guess. I see the difference. I understand there is a difference. I'm just not sure if Han Solo would be so willing not to cross it. That's his thing. He's not a bounty hunter. He's a smuggler. Which I guess kind of goes against bounty hunters. You can see why him and Boba don't get along. Boba's probably been tracking a bounty and Han's been paid double to smuggle him off world or something. As is the case with Luke and Kenobi. Boba was tracking them down and then Han... Yeah, I can see why they don't get along. At the end of the day, it's all just a job, innit? I'm sure they were back in the cantina drinking before they knew it. Best buds. Boba and that's why Boba took Han joining the Rebel Alliance, and Han, it was such a hard decision for Han because secretly they got like the best friend necklaces. Han's got half, Boba's got half, and then as soon as he sees Han in the Falcon swoop down and crash out Vader, just like rips it off, throws it in the fire. Yeah, just me, just my headcanon. Fair enough. Best smugglers. Oh, must say, take a look at the pieces we've got on the desk. It just looks less colourful than at the start. A lot of the colourful elements go into the body of the ship where they can be hidden a lot easier, starting off, you know, quite early. And they're also cheaper a lot of the times. Maybe they're in more sets now. We might have an abundance of grey elements in that colour. Well, grey elements in that piece in grey elements. But they might not be used at sets coming out next to it. So maybe there's more friend sets that use it. So LEGO are producing more of it, something like that. I can see LEGO trying to keep it cheap. Would be nice though, with LEGO keeping sets cheap and making it cheap and nice and affordable for them to do, if they could give us a few more. You know, if LEGO are saving money and they're able to save money, they are putting it into LEGO. We're getting new themes announced, we're getting limited themes all the time. But it would be nice if some of that comes back around to Star Wars, because it feels like we're getting less and less sets as we go on. We kind of are. Oh, wrong side. So if they could crank up the dial a little bit, turn up the heat just for LEGO Star Wars, maybe, I don't want to say maybe there'll be a few less people complaining. There wouldn't. But there might be a few more people a bit happier, you know? A few more Minban sets out there and callbacks to the Clone Wars other than the... Well, Clone Wars is going hard right now. That we can all agree on. Getting the arc is more Revenge of the Sith, despite the lack of the anniversary stamp on the box. But it also appears in the Clone Wars. We get Ahsoka's Etel. We're getting a Clone Wars Maul mech. Do we need a Clone Wars Maul mech? No. But I can guarantee you that Clone Wars Maul mech, LEGO were looking at the release of the June releases. We're like, alright, we've got Plo Koon. We got the Night Troopers. Ahsoka is big for Clone Wars fans. What else can we do? They took a little look and went, well, we've just released a new head for Maul. And that Clone Wars Maul was only in 2 sets around the time. Maybe people haven't got it. It was right as Season 7 was releasing. Since then, Andor's drawn a lot of new eyes to it. Maybe we could release it. How can we release it? We don't have a mech. Maybe Plo Koon was originally meant to be a mech and Maul took its place. I'm happy if that's the case. But, yeah, perhaps that is... These are the stories going down at LEGO HQ. Something akin to this. I'm paraphrasing here. But, yeah, and then we get the Maul mech because they wanted a way to release Yoda. Oh, we'll redo the ship because there were so many new pieces. And it was a decent model. The problem isn't with the set. That Yoda shuttle looks cool. They then re-released Yoda, that same minifigure, in an advent calendar. In this year's annual, actually. Not an advent calendar. In this year's LEGO Star Wars annual. And then, similar with Maul. I wonder if we'll get Maul in the advent. Because it's a mech minifigure. It's quite cheap. I feel like LEGO don't want to take too many eyes off. Usually we get a minifigure from the big expensive set. So I'm hoping we don't get Ayla Secura or Bly. Maybe they can give us... What's the other set that's meant to be out? We're meant to be getting... Oh, what are we meant to be getting? We are meant to be getting 2 big sets. The Turbo Tank and the MTT. Oh, the Turbo Tank. Maybe we can get a Galactic Marine in the Advent. I'm just saying right now, I have been on Filoni Clones live streams. Those Galactic Marines fetch up to 20 quid. If there's a Galactic Marine in the Advent calendar, I might have to army build the Advent calendar. Galactic Marines, battle droids, and if we get that gingerbread clone trooper that I've been asking for what feels like years now, probably only been about a year, if that, probably only this year that I've been asking for it, then I might have to army build Advent calendars. So excited for Season 2 of Andor. We're hours away, are we not? We must only be out like 12 hours away at tops. It's almost upon us. And yes, I am doing this a bit early. Usually we'll be going live on a Wednesday evening. I don't know if I'll be able to watch all of Andor by the time we go live. I'll have to try and work something out for that. But I'll probably try and binge it every Wednesday morning. Just binge the entire lot so that we can talk about it on Wednesday's live stream. Because yes, Andor is worth it for sure. I don't know if 2 of these are shiny. What sets am I going to pick up May 4th for the May 4th promo? So, here in the UK, it's 145 quid. And I've actually got them listed down, so I can tell you exactly what I'm planning to pick up. And there's a bit that I'm not sure about. So, I know 2 sets. I'm going to be picking up the U-Wing. And I'm also going to be picking up Ahsoka's Jedi Interceptor. But then we've got 45 quid left to play with because that only gets me to 100 quid. So let me flip up the big camera while I'm over there. There we go. You should be able to hear now. I forgot to add this mic onto the other screen, but that only gets to £100. I've still got £45 to go. So right now I'm looking at getting a battle pack. Maybe a battle pack. Maybe I think I could probably do it with key rings alone. Get some loot key rings for my pilots. See this orange blob just down here? I've got 4 pilots that could do with them UCS arms and legs. So I'm going to get some loot key rings. Probably also get some 3PO key rings for sure. Planning to pick up the logo, the U-Wing, and the Heroes and Villains or Chopper. Heroes and Villains, the Revenge of the Sith Brickheads. Are they the Heroes and Villains? Because I've debated that. That's £45. Chopper. I'm going to want Chopper after building it. Oh, R2's not there anymore. I do have the R2-D2 we'll be building May 4th. Might go a little earlier streaming for that. But I'm going to want the Chopper. And the 3PO. I'm tempted. I've seen 3PO on sale. And I'm so tempted to pick up 3PO. But I'm going to have to save something for Black Friday. And Chopper's awesome. Chopper is my all-time favourite war criminal. For sure. But I might have to save Chopper and 3PO for Black Friday. Maybe 3PO this year. I don't know if Chopper will be on sale this year, if I'm honest. Because Chopper's such a fan favourite. R2 wasn't on sale much for the first year. Rebels is awesome. I've still... Oh no, I broke down the Ghost, didn't I? To try and build the Phantom minifig scale. That didn't go too well, but... I'm going to have to rebuild the Ghost, actually. I would like to get a Kanan minifigure. I got my eyes out for a cheap Kanan minifigure. Oh, the black-haired one. I have a cheap or the most expensive. No middle ground. Rebels is worth watching. If any of you haven't watched Rebels and you're debating it, definitely give it a shot, because it's Clone Wars. It's got the vibe of the Clone Wars, but it's so different because it's a different time period. You've got different characters, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily make it better or worse than the Clone Wars. It's different in the best way. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's all on Disney Plus, and so's Resistance. But Resistance, there's a few steps. You've got Clone Wars, then you've got Rebels, which has, like, Ahsoka started off in Clone Wars. Ahsoka wasn't the best. Ahsoka was, I grew up with Ahsoka, so it's probably how I was at the time. But Ahsoka was a bit, not annoying, a bit young at the start of Clone Wars. Ezra, a bit young at the start of Rebels. Kaz, less young at the start of Resistance. But still, you need to break in the new characters. You need to let them annoy you so you can love them later on. It happened with Ahsoka, it happened with Ezra. And I wouldn't mind Kaz showing up maybe in some sequel content. Hello there, Rufus. Looks like Jedi Bob's ship from Rebuild the Galaxy. Is it not? Hold on, you've just blown my mind. Is it not? Because we've got Jedi Bob's Delta, but Jedi Bob's Delta isn't the one the 3 of them are in. The one that has, like, the legs and... Is this Jedi Bob's ship? Oh, there's a call... Who's done this? Let me give them... Wurger Bricks has turned 2 Jedi Bob's Deltas into an Arc 170. That looks pretty cool. Is this not Jedi Bob's ship? The one where he reveals his Barbarian AFOL? I'm going to take your word for it because I can't find it online. But it... Just watched episode 2 and it looks like it. It is, isn't it? This is the Andor ship from the ambush on Ferrix. But you're right. This is the one with the 2 AT-AT legs as well, which today I've been breaking down a few of my sets. So, right here, what do I have but the modified AT-AT legs? Oh, I'm putting them away for the end of this. We had so much fun building these modified AT-AT legs. I'm definitely going to have to pair them with them. Shout out to Rufus in chat. Yes. I can't believe I never paired that together. I probably did when watching it, I looked at it and went, oh, that's cool. And never thought of it again. Yeah, the TAC pod I think they were called. This set came out before Rebuild the Galaxy. Yeah, so this isn't Rebuild the Galaxy themed, but I don't have Jedi Bob. That's another minifigure, Jedi Bob and that Akbar clone trooper I'm going to have to pick up at some point. I'm going to keep my eye out. Now I've seen there's a few second-hand stores nearby. Definitely keeping my eye out to see if any of the characters pop up there. But oh, that's a 1x2. Yes, I can't believe I didn't notice that. I think this is also going... No. This might be for the back of the ship, but there are so many ships that pop up. I knew it and didn't say about it. Yeah, it's not the thing that I ever thought of, really. I remember like the Sandcrawler, the big ones, but I can't believe I never put that together. That's crazy. So maybe I do have to pick up Jedi Bob's. We've got Jedi Bob's ship. I've got the Dark Falcon behind me, which comes with Darth Dev, Ray Jar Jar, Darth Jar Jar and Beach Luke are the two. Actually, and Jedi Vader and 3PO and Ray. Darth Dev looks like a really cool Inquisitor, so I guess all the minifigures are awesome about that. But we get Jedi Bob in Jedi Bob's ship. We get... Where do the other minifigures come from? Because you get the two other minifigures that are in this ship with Jedi Bob. Somehow all fit into the cockpit, seemingly. There's not enough space in this set. But which are the other characters in? There's the X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup. They might whack one of them in there. I can't remember the other Rebuild the Galaxy sets. There must have been another set or two I'm missing out. Or I'm probably giving them too many Rebuild the Galaxy sets. We didn't see that many. Oh, some clips. Are these for the pistols? We've got little clips, one on this side, and there's meant to be this one on the other side. Darth Jar Jar is canon. Or you could say Kanan. Hey, I see what you did there. Yes, Darth Jar Jar. So the LEGO universe is canon. Rebuild the Galaxy is canon for like an not an alternate, but you know, the LEGO universe. It's canon in LEGO, which is where a lot of these other stories are taking place. And it seems that a few of the changes they made may not have been reversed for season 2. And of course, Canadian Brickheads. Hey, I'm not going to start that again. But yes, the pistols. Look. So we never. Oh, have I missed something here? Oh, yes, the final step. I thought we were in the clear. No, let's stick these down. But Darth Jar Jar is canon for the LEGO universe of Star Wars and Fortnite. Fortnite's also canon because Fortnite is where they revealed. That's a good point. Fortnite is canon because that's where they revealed. Yeah, not the LEGO Darth Jar Jar, Darth Jar Jar in general. Yeah, Fortnite's canon. That's where they revealed Palpatine. And I know not necessarily the Fortnite version because that had so many questions. What else is canon to Star Wars? But Fortnite is a galaxy near Star Wars, surely. Darth Jar Jar will always be canon to us. Star Wars can't say anything against that. Headcanon is my canon. And Robot Chicken, Lucas wanted it. If Lucas wanted it to be, you know, these are the Lords of the Sith. I'm happy with this Andor set. Oh, have I put these on to... Oh, I've flipped them round, haven't I? Oh, okay. Fortnite isn't really that good. I do have fun with Fortnite. I think the storyline... I stopped playing COD quite a while back. But the storyline of Fortnite, if you're able to follow it, it's a lot... The problem with the storyline now is it's hidden in walkie-talkies at the minute, I think it is. You got to go around collecting walkie-talkies for the story, and the actual story that they sell is vastly different. But if you can follow the storyline hidden in those little walkie-talkies right now, it really is interesting. Fortnite is a game, I think the storyline, because I played COD, Warzone was the first one I played. And I've played a few other big multiplayer games. Battlefront sticks out. But in terms of the Battle Royale games and the Battle Royale experience, I think Fortnite stands out for that rarely coherent story. So Star Wars coming into it, how are they going to fit that into Fortnite? That's definitely getting me, like I said earlier, it's definitely getting me focused in on Fortnite again, just to find out how they get it done. Oh, flipping it around, but I'm sure they'll manage to do it. No problem, they'll manage to do it. Where are you? I wonder if that giant. So Fortnite has signed a massive Disney deal. You can run around as Cruella de Vil and a bunch of other Disney characters. Baymax is in it. And that's just scratching the top. Every Disney character in a couple of decades will be in Fortnite. But they've invested a lot into it. So this Star Wars season, is this going to be a yearly event? Are we going to see May 4th every single year in Fortnite? I'd be down for that. So we hit 5k last week, 7k this week, 10k by May 4th. I mean, you know, it's out of my control, but 10k would mean a UCS set. If we hit 10k anytime soon, I will say that UCS set will have to wait for towards the end of the year. But no matter what, when we hit 10k, there will be a live stream of a UCS set. And maybe that could be built in one stream. Dependent on the UCS set, that's too much to ask. And, I mean, people going crazy about Repo. That Repo short has shot off completely. And, yeah, we will be getting around to play Repo. We've just got so much Lego to build first. Let's have fun with the Lego whilst we got it. And then we can get round to playing Repo. Yeah, that short has gone absolutely crazy. I've also done, if you've seen the shorts about the droids, I think they're all out now. There are 3 of them, R2, Chopper and R4 I turn into Repo characters. That was a blast making that. Repo droids. That's what's going on with this. Look at that, we've got some jumper tiles on the bottom. And then I feel like this is just decoration. This is looking a little weird now. Haven't played Repo, me neither. For the amount of little builds I've created from Repo, I've watched a load of it, but I'm still yet to play a single second of the game. Is this just a shield? Are we going to give this to, to Cyril? There you go. To protect against the rebels. It's the biggest shield. Massive. Ain't going past that. I haven't played Repo. That's the crazy thing. I have not got around to playing it yet. So, as of this stream, yeah. My most popular short is something I haven't even played. Just watched enough of it to make some Lego. But yeah, the Star Wars droids as Repo characters. After looking at them in the Complete Saga, we played the Complete Saga over the weekend. And after looking at the break in the head for the disc, I couldn't get that out of my mind. They look so much like Repo characters. The resemblance is almost uncanny, except for the massive droid legs. And the lack of actual legs, I suppose. Whilst we're on it. There's still a sea of just grey pieces. Not many hidden by that. But still a sea of grey pieces. And I'm unable to find the one we really need. Maybe I need to approach this from a different angle and start just rotating the desk, finding that sweet spot for, there you go. As soon as you can see something like the back of this piece here, you know that's going to be one of the hinges. There we go. And the 2x4 should be easy to spot. That one's big. Didn't even hear Repo. I've got a load of people that have watched the short and then wondered what Repo is. You know, you see a video with so many views, so many likes and the sort, and you do start to wonder what it is you're missing out on. But yeah, it's a very niche. Despite the popularity, it is still quite a niche topic. Because I suppose if you're not into, Lethal Company is is one of the closest games I can compare to it, and chances are most people that are asking what Lethal Company, what Repo is, won't know what Lethal Company is either. So he is in that little pocket. They call them horror games. They're more. There are like the odd monsters, jump scares, little bits like that, but I don't know if I'd go as far as calling it a horror game. I don't know if it doesn't feel right because it is. It's not even jump scares. It's more animals patrol, creatures, monsters patrolling around rooms, and I guess you'll see. I guess you'll see in June when we play the game here on the channel. So I've got the Obi-Wan Starfighter. Oh, there you go. Heard of Lethal Company. It's very Lethal Company-esque, but a bit more. Maybe even aimed at a younger audience. I will say, all the bugs and that the Lethal Company was having, I haven't seen that with Repo. So it does seem like the developers. It feels like the developers care a little bit more about Repo than Lethal Company. Not to say they didn't care, but if you had to compare, it's clear which one's the more interested in what the fans are saying, which is nice to see from a game. From a Star Wars point of view, where most games get dropped after a couple of years, it's nice that the support has been continued. Yeah, the Obi-Wan Starfighter, I think as soon as that Jango Starfighter comes out, is going to be popular to be picked up alongside it. I think it's going to be very popular as opposed to people buying it right now. You never know, it's still a leak, this Jango Fett Starfighter. So as soon as it comes out, both of those, Amazon do bundles. So when we get like a second battle pack, they'll bundle it up with the previous clone battle pack. And I can see that happening with Kenobi Starfighter. It getting bundled up with the slave one and selling a lot better than it otherwise would. Ooh. Move that one stud up. Perfect. And I'm going to assume, I'm going out on a limb, saying that this is probably going to be built in reverse as well. Might get it as part of the May 4th promo. I tell you what, that'd be a good idea. I was wondering with 3PO and with a few other sets, do I go for a double May 4th promo? Do I try to get, two of them, one in box? And then I thought about it and was like, I can't be doing this because then I'm going to want, another Rex Y-Wing. Then I'm going to want just to display behind it, not for any sort of investment, but just to display alongside the actual set. And that quickly becomes a very expensive hobby if you're not just getting one to play but one to display. So I talked myself out of it, but last year I think was the perfect opportunity to double up on May 4th promos. But if there was a second place, it would go to this clone one. The only thing is, I do see the clone troopers given out are very easy to custom make. I mean, you decal the torso, and the dual molded legs have come on multiple Santa Clauses, so they're not exactly any rare pieces. Had they come with, maybe if we'd got, one of the red outfits, one of the Domino Squad suits, and then another exclusive clone, it'd be cool to army build them. But unless you're building a giant mock, even if you're building a giant mock, I do think it'd be cheaper rather than spending multiple 145s on Lego. And we're not talking about 2 lots. Maybe 2 giftable purchases is quite a good idea, but any more than 2, and I think it's just better to save your money and invest it into some customs. Even Grandpa Clone Army customs. You're looking at quite a bit for a minifigure, but I'm sure it won't be long before Sam over at Filoni Clones has a few. Or has a few different clone cadets that can be purchased. I might put in a good word for those. Oh, what's... I don't have this element. I've recreated it using a 2x2 and 2 1x1. So $320 to get 2. Okay, that's one. £290. Yeah, actually, that's £300. I'm thinking 100 and something, you know, not too bad. But that soon jumps up. UK, yeah, 290. £290. I think euros might be the same as the dollars. I don't know if the gift with purchases are any different. I mean, we're hoping it's $320 or $160 each. Lego have, I am hoping, I am crossing my fingers for all you Americans out there that the May 4th gift with purchases and the May 1st releases don't increase. However, later on this year, I am sorry to say that you might have seen it already. Lego are looking Jurassic World recently, or Jurassic Park. Hello there, welcome to the channel. Lego have started to Apple Guy, welcome. Lego have started to put up the prices of Lego sets, and Star Wars is on the list for later this year. Yep, Star Wars is about to get more expensive for everyone in America, or if you're importing basically anyone that wants the part counts on their box, it's about to get a little more pricey. And we all know who to thank for that, but you know, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm surprised Lego isn't, when we're looking at battle packs, you know, back in the day we used to spend, what, a tenner? A tenner, maybe like $10, $12 for a battle pack. And now we're spending about £12, what's that, $15, $18 is it for a battle pack? I don't think that's too bad, given where it started, where it's from, and, you know, how much everything else. You look at something like housing. Very, very expensive compared to 10, 20 years ago. LEGO Star Wars isn't on the same scale. It is getting more expensive, slowly but surely, and I think part of that is LEGO realising they can charge more for it, but not at the same rate. Now, you know, if you're a representative for LEGO, I'm not saying you need to make it more expensive. Please don't. Because the more expensive something is, yeah, the less people are probably going to be interested. But LEGO has survived this long already. They're doing something right with it. Why have we not just built 2 of these? Because they're identical. Oh, I've also realised I'm going to need some studs for the holes in. I don't think they come in orange. So we're going to have to switch to... Let's go grey. It's going to be hidden away. Let's go grey instead. But that does make sense why they've used such a niche piece. No problem. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, with Lego not charging, well, not seeming to charge too much more. Maybe even a 2x2. Cheers for hanging. May the bricks be with you. Departing early. Not for departing early. That sounds terrible. Instead of this element that they've got in here, because we've got so much space around it, I'm actually going to push these aside. Oh, maybe I can put these back. If I don't put them back now, I don't think they'll be going back for a while. But rather than using the bottom side of a balloon, I do have it in various colours, but I can get away with using an orange, maybe grey, 2x2 brick. Interesting why Lego... I don't think we did use a 2x2 brick in this entire set, but look at this. The 2x2 brick slots just in there. And hello there, Dominic. There you go, it holds in. That is beautiful. That is my favourite connector now. And look how it lines... Oh, have I got this? Yeah, I don't think I was pushing it in the right way. Look how it lines up at the front. That's gorgeous on a Lego set. Oh, wow. I think that would also work for a... I want to say an MTT. It's the troop transport that we see in Rebels. That has this sort of shape at the front, and then has... And does this still hold? Still holds the same as the other piece. You might even be able to get like a 2x2 plate on there as well. But wow. That does look proper nice. And especially now that I know this is the ship that Jedi Bob has in Rebuild the Galaxy. Some exciting news. Sugar and Spice is joining Hot Wheels Racerverse. Oh, I don't think I've heard of Racer. Oh, wait, that's the... Yes, Racerverse is Oh wait, is this building? Where is this building? Is Racerverse the like I want to say celebrity series of Hot Wheels, but they're not celebrities, but the popular characters. It's that run of cars. That's awesome news. Here we go. Similar to like the Star Wars series, I'm sure we have all seen Star Wars Hot Wheels at some point. Wonder if Andor. Nah, I don't know if there's any newer, because I know they did a run of. They did a run. Which Hot Wheel did I? Oh no, I almost picked up the Ahsoka one, but I didn't in the end. Hot Wheels. I never had a lot of Hot Wheels, I don't think, growing up. Not that I remember, at least. I remember having the giant loop. I think everyone knew from Toy Story that giant loop you could attach to the wall and then have the cars swing round and down, round and out. That was fun. And then a lot of other smaller model cars. But Hot Wheels is just the... Hot Wheels is the goat of model cars, isn't it? When you think of little die-cast cars especially. And who knows, before long, Hot Wheels Racerverse's chibi-fied pop culture range. Oh, really excited for the sugar and spice. Let me have a little look at these. So, Hot Wheels Racerverse. Oh yeah. So, Racerverse is the Star Wars. Have I heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It's not a story the Jedi would tell you, that's for sure. The Stitch one popped up straight away. Oh wow. I think it's recognised the fact that I'm looking at Stitch. I've got Stitch, Hera, Ahsoka. I've seen the Star Wars ones. I might have to get the Star Wars bundle of these. Chewie looks pretty cool. Yeah, the Racerverse ones. I've seen like one or two of these in my local Smiths here in the UK. And the rest of them I saw, I want to say like a B&M, somewhere like that. But the B&M had them marked up a little bit. It was pretty much as soon as they come out, ages ago now. Yeah, there's some really cool. Let me have a little look at the sugar and spice. See if we get any. Where are we? Oh, these are all. This is Stitch again. Alright, we might not have images of them yet. I might be getting ahead of myself. The Captain Hook. Oh, Captain Hook has popped up. Yeah, Captain Hook's here in the boat. That does look cool. If only they had one of the larger packs. I'm seeing Mickey Isabel. Is it from Wreck-It Ralph, Stitch, and Baymax? If only they had a pack of them for Star Wars. That would be. Or for the LEGO ones as well. They seem to just be selling the Star Wars ones individually. I have to keep my eye out for them. Boba Fett's not half bad. Yeah, I really like the Ahsoka one. It's a Clone Wars Ahsoka one that goes with the Eater that LEGO have just released. So you can see across different platforms there are a few different ones. Watching from the shadows. We've got a few people popping up on Twitch as well. So YouTube and Twitch, we are cross-streaming. Should probably put that somewhere in the description. And who knows, soon going live. If I could work out vertical streaming, I'd also work out the haven't been leaked yet. Alright, I'll be keeping an eye out. You can let me know when we've got images of them. We'll be having a little look at those. But yeah, it's 1, 2 feet out here. I've lost my train of thought now. Completely gone. Don't fear, the Mario is here. Alright, green on the right, red on the left. Might be flipped, who knows? There we go. The Star Wars Racerverse. There are so many characters, but we're still getting, Hera. I don't think they'll do Andor. We've got Ahsoka, we've got probably like Vader or Anakin, Boba, Luke, willing to bet there's a Kenobi one. And they all do line up with LEGO sets, don't they? We're getting most, but maybe not like Kenobi as recently. Uh-oh. These... Oh, I've done this the wrong way, haven't I? There we go. Just fixing this up. I'd love to see a Hot Wheels Racerverse kit. Yeah, I tell you what, I wonder if Hot Wheels are going to be doing something similar when they have all the brick sets about them. Because that's Mattel, isn't it? Hot Wheels. So I wonder if, because they could fit minifigures inside and have ships or vehicles built like different ships and stuff like that all over. Yes, I'm meant to have one of either side. So I need to flip this one. So yeah, so they could have minifigures in the middle of them. And that would work quite nicely with the different themes and all the different licenses that Hot Wheels have already got under their belt. So I would like to see something minifigure based, not minifigure scale, but you know, building Hook's boat in Lego with a Hook minifigure. I think Lego own the license to too many of these Disney themes though. Maybe they'll do a Sugar and Spice one though. Because Lego don't own the license. Might be a bit expensive. A lot of these themes that don't have brick licenses already, a lot of people turn around and go, oh, but I'd love to see a license of that, a license of that. A lot of the time it is just too expensive for Lego or anyone else to be copying up all these licenses. It's a lot of money to chew up. Right here, we have a problem because I can't get the stud connectors. All right, how do we solve this then? Have a LEGO storage last Christmas. Pretty happy. Oh, did you bring out a load of sets from storage, or did you get a load of LEGO storage? How's this? Oh, all right. Brains churning. We might be onto something here. Yeah, I've been looking at expanding my wall. I just don't have. I don't even know if the camera could pick me up from here, but I don't have enough space to keep adding drawers. Otherwise, I'd just be expanding and expanding. Just completely stretching out all that way and all the way the other side. So what I'm going to try and do, this is my custom little cockpit piece that I've made to convince myself I can brick it together as opposed to using an alternate windscreen. But does that come, I think the official set will come down a bit smaller than that. Hello there, Orbit Prime. That's a transformer if I've ever heard one. So I think we'll have to have, yeah, because we want this at an angle, so maybe instead of this we can get some clips on it. Hot Wheels should bring back the Talking Comic-Con kit with lights and sounds kit from Knight Rider, innit? I would like to see more, especially other companies try it, because Lego are only going to go for what they seem profitable. It's a smart way to run the business, I guess. But I'd love to see more lights and sound bricks used for a load of these icon sets. And is this a custom build? No, this is, well, it's an official Lego set besides this piece here. I am trying to build this without picking up the official set. So we are building an alternate to the windscreen because I thought it'd be a load of fun. And I will admit, it is going to be a load of fun trying to get this to work because of how fidgety it's going to be. I think we may have cracked this one sooner than I expected, if I'm honest. That being said, you know, now's when it falls apart and we haven't cracked it as much. Let's see, in Lego Saturday. Oh, nice. Hopefully, I think we should have gone with what we had before. Yeah, I don't think the clips is the way to go. Kit from Knight Rider, yeah. Tomica also did kit as well, and Matchbox in the 90s as Star Cars. I wonder if enough people did something like that on Lego Ideas, if Lego would make a set. Not just from Lego Ideas, but you know, if enough people were making customs of a certain car from a movie like Kit, I wonder if Lego would just turn around and make like a Speed Champions or something like that if it didn't get made into a set. Obviously, Kit's probably popular enough to get a set made of them. But if there wasn't that 10k, because 10,000 is a lot of votes. Yeah, I think that does look good. It's a bit squared off at the front, but it don't look terrible. Don't look half bad actually. Maybe if we could straighten it out. Wish I had that many Lego pieces. I mean, you can see behind me there are so many drawers there. I will say we've got these drawers up here, which have a lot of smaller pieces. I've started moving them around. We've got 1x4s, 1x6s now back in the small drawers because they're so much easier to get to. And then a few of the less used pieces, we've got snot bricks, round bricks, and you get used to using them all the time. But trying to organise them, sort them out and part them back out is, yeah, it's takes some time. I've got constant backlog of sets that I need to be parting out. And it's, it's still Lego. So at the end of the day, when I'm breaking down a set, I'm having almost as much fun as building a set, minus the finish. Well, I say minus the finished project. When you're breaking down a set, the big difference is rather than a specific ship, you're breaking it down so that you've got the pieces, an empty tub to fill with other mocks that you want to break down, and the pieces to build the next one, I wouldn't be able to build this without breaking down probably the Razor Crest. I have a feeling a lot of these pieces are from the Razor Crest, but I'm sure there's a few other models in there as well. And yeah, it has its own fun, doesn't it? Jada Toys also made kits, so a load of people have made a kit. Have I heard of Jada? No, I don't think. What was the first Lego Classic set? The ones with the random pieces. My first one, the first one came out long before I was born, but my first one was probably one in the early 2000s. I definitely got a few classic sets because I remember the little tubs they used to come in with the, some of them were stackable, some of them looked stackable and really weren't. They had little like notches in the top of them, which were meant to be stackable. They really weren't stackable at all. They were probably stackable, but whether they were secure, that's something different. Jada makes some fantastic die-cast models. Oh. I got a lot of the die-cast models, I will admit, is Star Wars ones. The Star Wars character-like ones. But a giant gun on the top of the ship. I tell you what, it's the same size as my other short, almost on a million, and that's the 8080 where we put the Death Star on it, the AV7 cannon. Maybe I have to rebuild the AV7 cannon and get the gun on top of that. Hold me to that, Orbit Prime, and yeah, keep your eye out for a future nightmare of a ship. I'm pretty sure the only weapons here is this little thing down here, because on the top of the ship, what could we have on that round hinge? Maybe there is a little turret on top. There must be something using these little stud fire, but I'm gonna have to rebuild that giant turret just to whack it on top of this thing. That's gonna look fun. That's a good thing with Lego as well. So we're talking about this ship in Rebuild the Galaxy, which is driven by Barbarian AFOL, Jedi Bob. So weird they gave him a full out name, but it just matches up to what Lego would do. They do get legs, so little ATST legs that I'm gonna see if we can balance the ship on top of, because there's plenty of studs on top. Maybe even get a little like Technic connector in the side. We might be able to sneak something in there if you want a bit more of a permanent solution. But yeah, it's not only a drivable turret, it's a turret that flies, which is terrifying. The fact that that can just be flying. Imagine it'd have to land and secure itself, like any sort of wide vehicle or any sort of lift on the back of a lorry. You'd have to have like extra feet come out, drill into the ground before it fires. It can't just be flying along, fire, and then the giant blast goes one way and the ship just goes flying off the other way. Blasting off again. Oh, no, I've put this on the wrong way. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rebuild my. The only thing with the AV7 turret was a lot of these elements went into it, so it gives me a chance to rebuild that for, what would it be, version 3? And like I said, a lot of these elements are present in the Arc 170, so I might have to do a little colour swap as well when we build that this weekend, Saturday. Oh, 1, 2. I'm hoping we don't have to switch anything up between the two models. Put the weapon at the top of the Millennium Falcon. Oh yeah, we've got the little, we've got the Death Star dish, which is off to the side, but we've also got the centre of the Falcon, which is perfect for one of these as well. We just get the giant turret on the Falcon. The Falcon might look pretty cool with it. So I assume this is going on the top, but like with anything else Lego, we mustn't assume, because 9 times out of 10, they'll want to prove us wrong. Oh, this goes straight through, does it? No bar element to hold them together? Oh no, little engine inside. Okay. I'm sure we'll probably cover that one up though. And then this goes on the side like that. And we want to do the opposite. Something to remember that. Have I heard the die-cast company Ertl? I have not, no. I'm not very into the die-cast game, I will admit. I know Star Wars, and that would be the only reason I know of a die-cast, I guess. And Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels, actually. Big Hot Wheels fan. Always an exception, isn't there? Snot brick and an engine. What do Ertl do? I assume die-cast models, obviously, die-cast cars. But Hot Wheels, I feel like Hot Wheels are almost known for their trucks. I used to play a game called Hot Wheels Unleashed as well. That was awesome. It reminds me of what Speedstorm are trying to do now. What Hot Wheels Unleashed used to do. Is this the wrong element? Ah, you know what, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also built the Ford Mustang. Oh. So similar to Hot Wheels with the main line of cars, I assume. Have we seen, there's a Star Wars Celebration every single year. There are die-cast Star Wars models. I do not see them anywhere. Are there any, you know, Star Wars, Star Trek die-cast makers? Does anyone know in chat? Because I feel like there's a gap in the market, if not. I mean, there's the Star Wars ones I see at Celebration, but every, 2 years now, they come out with like 2, 3 different models. Do we know any, like, sci-fi, maybe not even based on a licensed thing, just any sort of sci-fi die-cast models? Because, you know, I could want a, oh, there you go, I'll make the Star Trek ships. As well as Johnny Lightning. Oh, so they do. There are some ship makers out there. That's nice to know. Star Trek's meant to be getting a Lego set as well. I don't know when. I think it might be next year, not this year. But no doubt the USS Enterprise, which will be a nice model. Oh, oh. I assume that's meant to be down as far as it goes. For quite what feels like a small model, again, same price as the U-Wing, despite the U-Wing having less pieces, hopefully being a little bigger than this. I don't see the U-Wing being much bigger than this. You know, the wings going out, maybe the wing, yeah, the wings. If we took off the wings, I think this is bigger than the body of the U-Wing. Although I don't think that's saying much if you take off the wings. Wings are kind of most of the U-Wing, aren't they? Definitely some stud shooters on here. Ertl movie cars. I assume I'm saying that correct. Ertl, ERTL. Movie cars were sold under the Racing Champions name during the 2000s. Very, very similar to Speed Champions, dare I say. Or add small turrets at the bottom of the wings to shoot enemies right in front of it. Get the turrets off the gunship. The turrets on the gunship are the size of this bottom bit of the wing here. Could you imagine just half the wing goes flying off where you've been firing a weapon that's way too big for it? And then this is an extra little turret. There might actually be a gun on top. I might have just looked over that. Oh, look at this. So we've got the 2 stud shooters on the side. This is very similar build to the engine at the bottom of Luthen Speeder. I quite like this. Obviously, stud shooters, not as much engine this one, but the typical blast. I think this is the exact same cannon build off one of the ATTE polybags. Dave. Well, we've just about had it all on this stream. So I have, as you can see on the monitor top left, I have had to switch over to my microphone again, and my phone said no. My phone said no. It's not coming back on. I think I might have accidentally killed my phone. I say accidentally, it definitely weren't accidental. It was definitely done on purpose, but we're going to finish up the build here. And hopefully by Saturday, I'll have everything charged. So these little, it's a little tub in here. So we got a ton of these, and I mean a ton of these different 1x1 elements. I don't see these going on the build. I do think these are made. Maybe we should continue with the instructions beforehand. But I think these are to fire off the top because there are so many of them included. We've got, there you go, 8 of them. They're meant to be in green. I've got them in blue instead. So we've got 2 that can be loaded into the top, which is way too dangerous. Not going to be doing that. But 2 of them do fit in this container. This container going just in the middle, taking up a seat. You can definitely replace that with a minifigure. And the same for this fire extinguisher as well. What does worry me are these 6 pieces that are left over. Where are these from? They're included in the back, but they're not included in the build, or unless... Oh, hold on. I know where these pieces are from. I think this is why the back wasn't working, because we're not meant to be plugging these in straight into the engines. Yes, look, these go in the back here, and then the engines go one in. Look, there we go. That's what's meant to happen. All right, we managed to sort that one out, but then we put that in there. We could get a little something, you know, just a little. Oh, does a 1x1 not fit? So we'd have to get a cone. I'm happy they left out the cone here. It's disappointing they didn't leave out the cone in the U-wing, but we'll complain about that when we get there. At least we've managed to wrap up this stream. And for these, are these? Oh, I see where these have come from as well. So, there we go. No pieces spare. Can't say that about everything we've built here on a live stream. Hopefully we can have the same luck on Saturday even. Not going live 3 times a week just yet. Maybe later on for that August release. But here we go. We've got that little tiny look at... Oh, it's not coming back off. Nope. All right, well, you stay where you are. We've got this tiny turret on top. I'm looking forward to doing a video on this. A few extra spare pieces here, and like the ones are actually spare in the set. But then we've got this cockpit, which I'm happy. I can't say I'm impressed with the cockpit piece here, but I'm quite happy we've managed to find an alternative to the windscreen. Got to rotate that cannon all the way back to get the cockpit as far as it goes, and then we can get Cyril here just in the middle. There we go. Cyril at the controls. Groovy controls and all. Look at that. That ain't half bad. But now I think I am ready more than ever for Andor Season 2. So this has been building the ambush on Ferrix. Stay tuned. May 4th, I will be purchasing the U-wing. Almost called it a Y-wing. I would love to see more Rebel ships. But until then, that has been all. I hope you enjoyed. Yes, the audio cutting out, the visuals cutting out last minute hasn't been the best. I'll get that fixed up for Saturday. Let me know what you think of this ship. I think it's actually turned out really well. And having built it, I say this a lot on the channel, but having built this set, I think I would actually have liked to pick this one up in person because there were some really good sales, just like for Grievous's Starfighter, just like for Boba's Palace, the Justifier. Getting that extra Hunter minifigure at the time seemed a bit pointless, but now we didn't get a Crosshair in a Season 3 set. I think getting that extra Hunter and finding a custom Crosshair helmet goes a long way and would be really, really nice to pick up and add to the clone wall just behind Master Moldy's members monolith here. But all right, that is all for today's stream. I'm now going to go put all the drawers away that are hiding from the background. Till next time, thank you so much for making it through this entire stream. Hello there, Orbit Prime. And until Saturday, where we'll be building the Arc 170. I'll tell you what, let me get the box. Let me get the box out so I can show you the ship we'll be building. Check this out. This looks amazing. We get 3 new clones, 2 of which are named. Can't say that about the gift we've purchased, but there'll be many more sets coming throughout May and June, and I'm sure for years to come on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, may the bricks be with you always.